Looks like we are live. Just gonna wait for some folks to come in here. Fellas, what's going on? FP Sven back here. Just going to adjust what you guys see real quick. Looks okay on my end, but YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. All right, no stress. Oh, you know what? Let me go a little bit smaller on this screen. How does that look now? Just gonna let that update using a new monitor setup than last night. Okay. Bear with me here, guys. We still got about 3 minutes until the Division 4 Pacific. Just going to see what looks good here in terms of the setup. So my OBS does not look the same from what you guys see on YouTube right now. Good to see everybody. James with the quick question at pick 5. If it's between Pasta and Cooch, who would you choose? It depends on league settings ultimately. We're looking much better on my preview, so let me know if that looks good for you guys. Looks like we can see the first 5 rounds clean. Between Pasta and Kucherov, ultimately will depend your on your league settings. I would personally lean Kucherov because the points floor seems to be higher. The power play points floor seems to be higher, but ultimately that's going to end up to you. I think Pasternak will end up with more shots on goal. We've got some familiar commenters back for another one here. Good to see you guys again. I don't think Clayton Keller's going 1-1-1, Colin, but stranger things have happened. Just for fun, I'm going to keep the Yahoo pick update on the far right there, just as things come in. Um, we'll see how it goes with that, but everything else looks relatively okay. I'm just going to lower McDavid's head a little bit if I can. Good call out by Wicked there. We are doing back-to-back drafts in about a minute 30 seconds. We have Division 4 Pacific starting up, and then at 9:15, hopefully this is a quick one and we can capture the full thing, but if not, 9:15 we'll be pivoting over to Division 2 West. where Wicked is drafting, FP Mike and FP Don are drafting. Quite a few other familiar faces in that league. So it's going to be a fun night. I've got 2 glasses of water tonight, as opposed to one last night and a Dr. Pepper Zero. Gonna need to stay hydrated throughout this little marathon here, but happy to do it with you guys. Boomtown 89er says, if I've seen Kemper really talked about this season, does he really have that high of a ceiling in LA? I think it's an improvement in the team in front of him this year compared to his situation in Washington. Keep in mind, he was a very, very good goaltender with Colorado the time he was there. I believe he was there for 2 seasons. So he's a guy that will thrive with the team in front of him playing well. Now, Doughty being out, and then losing Matt Roy definitely makes that LAD core worse, but I would argue that it's pretty good setup compared to what he had in front of him in Washington. So we'll see what goes there. I'm confident in taking him in a 0G strategy, or of course as your number 2 goalie. 5 seconds left here. We have Sweet McJesus, Nightfall, Soft Dump, Chill I Was Only Jokinen, Dubas's Water Bottle, Brady Bunch. That's cut off at the Jerome. We got Big Jaw, Sand in My Shorts. That's probably my favorite safe for work name I've seen so far. RC's All Stars, Rink Rats, and then I'm not saying that pick 12 one, but you guys get the idea. No changes off of the first 3 picks here. Got McDavid, McKinnon, Matthews. Kucherov goes 4. Um, if that answers your question a little bit better, James, Kucherov went 4, so I think at pick 5 you would happily take Pasta, who goes there to Dubas's Water Bottle. Draisaitl going 6. No surprise there. That should leave Rantanen or Makar at 7 for the Jerome, whose name isn't cut off, but I don't think he's taking Iginla in this draft here. I don't know if there's any other Jeromes, so it couldn't be Jerome's plural. He goes Brady at 7, so that leaves Big Jaw with Makar at 8. So Sand in My Shorts should end up with Rantanen at 9. Absolutely, that's great value. Um, Kreider versus Stamkos. I prefer Kreider. We've been talking about Stamkos quite a bit leading up to this season. How many mouths there are to feed in that offense in Nashville? Kaprizov goes 10. We've seen him anywhere from 10 to 15, so that's pretty good for RC. I'm going to scroll down on that chat on the right just so we have it as up to date as possible. I'll remember to keep doing that. Boomtown, you're very welcome. What's up from the inside? Jordan, yeah, like there's no wrong answer there. Kreider versus Stamkos. I just think Kreider's going to be safer this year. We're not really sure what we're going to get just yet with Stamkos. Draft tomorrow night. Goalies are worth a little more, so when you think they should fall, a win is 3, save is 0.7, shutouts -5 for shutouts, or is that just a dash? Goals against -1.6. I'd say if you want one of the really good guys, maybe round 5, round 6. I wouldn't reach too high, because that's not too bad compared to Yahoo default, in my opinion. Rounding out the first round, we go Matthew Tkachuk and Willie. Pick 12 is back to back, so he goes with Yossi at 13. That seems to be the meta in the FPPL draft so far. Yossi at 13. Does Rinkrat go Tkachuk brothers here with pick 14, or does he go Jack Hughes? We'll see. Eric Anderson, Kirill or Jack Hughes, second round at number 8. Um, I'd go I'd go Hughes out of those two. Higher ceiling. Kaprizov is a little bit better in terms of that injury bug. While Rinkrat's going with Bouchard at 14. That leaves RC with the choice here. Does he jump on the defenseman train? Does he go Darlene, or does he decide to go ahead um, with a center winger? He goes JT Miller, who's going to touch all categories. That's a great pick there for that. I'm just double checking. We are delayed a minute, so I'm reacting live, and you guys see it about 60 seconds later. That's just to call that out. That's just so there's no sniping for the people that are getting picked. Sand in My Shorts. goes Darlene. That's pretty good. Jack Hughes at 17. Big Jaw licking his lips there. He took Makar 8th overall, and he gets Jack Hughes at 17. That's a really, really good start for pick 8. Um, my personal preference is either first 5 picks or hit me with pick 12. You know, I just had the lottery for my work draft. I'm picking fifth in a 14 team league. So definitely looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting one of Kucherov or Pasternak at pick 5. So we'll see what happens there. Dalton, I'm also looking for some shockers. I think so far the steal of the draft is Jack Hughes at 17. After him, back-to-back defensemen, Quinn Hughes, Noah Dobson, Victor Hedman goes at 20, maybe a panic pick by Dubas's water bottle. Um, I don't know if I prefer a Panarin or a Forsberg there, but as we've seen in these FPPL drafts, the defensemen are flying early with Hughes, Dobson, Hedman. That's 7 defensemen in the first 20 picks. I think that's the the quickest defenseman to flown off the board so far. Um, Let's see, where are we at here? Round 2, pick 11, and round 3, pick 2. Hyman, Forsberg, Pedersen, Gensel, Marner, or Robinson. I believe you mean Robertson. Out of those guys, I think I think Robertson or Forsberg are my favorites. After that, I'd go Pedersen. Those are my top 3 out of that. I got Kachuk and Kaprizov in my 14 team at 9 and 20. Kaprizov at 20 is amazing. Well done. Bro about to have Jack Hughes and Matt Kachuk. Yeah, he went Bouchard instead. So since then, a bit of a reach at Adam Fox, pick 21, but grabs that first defenseman. Philip Forsberg rounds out the tail end of the second round here. Matthews Forsberg was a pairing that we saw last night as well. So good start for soft dump, in my opinion. D run is crazy. Couldn't agree more. Uh, OMG, this is money. Not 100% sure what you mean by that, but okay. But Jack Hughes is definitely one of the best starts I've seen so far in the FPPL drafts. We've seen a lot of McDavid, Hedman, Braden Point in terms of that person picking 1-1. Can't go Hedman here, but we'll see. Um, just 4 teams without defensemen. So these guys are going to have to plan it properly here, but we'll see what happens at the tail end of the second round into the third, with Marner going 23rd, McKinnon, Marner, 2 guys that are sole position. So Nightfall will have to be careful from here. McJesus goes EP 40 to round out the second round. I believe he'll still have left wing eligibility, and he grabs a pure left winger in Panarin. Panarin at 25 also looks very good, and that's what happens when you have the defenseman fly that quickly for sure. No love for the bread man. Couldn't agree more. Samson says way too early for Bouchard. He's about ADP 17 to 20, and FPPL, that gets bumped up naturally. I was looking at some of our draft data, and defensemen are anywhere from 10 to 30 picks above where they normally get taken. Obviously, that gets worse as the pick number gets higher. You'll see a guy like Justin Falk, who has a high ADP but will go round 9, round 8 in these drafts. So nothing wrong with that. We're developing our own FPPL ADP just to better forecast what's going on with regards to this. The D are flying. Absolutely couldn't agree more. Scott says Quinn Hughes is a 5th rounder at best. When Mike and Chris are really preaching to take defensemen early, that's what's just going to happen. Hughes is a ADP 20 to 25 if I'm remembering correctly. So I wouldn't say 5th round, but he's somebody that I don't necessarily want, to be honest. Starting the third round after Panarin, we go Dougie Hamilton. Nightfall grabs his first D, shot heavy, should be good. Soft Dump goes with another pure left wing and Jason Robertson, who his health isn't too concerning. He had surgery to remove a cyst on his ankle, so should be back soon. And then Chill, I was only Jokinen, goes Morrissey. 2 defensemen so far should set them up for success later on. Dubas, his water bottle goes Crosby. It's a good pure C. Great pick there by Brady Bunch with Timo Meyer. And then the Jerome goes Bedard. So Brady's left wing eligible, so I don't mind a pure C there. Shots on goal will not be a problem if you're the Jerome. This is like watching the panic room for D-men. couldn't agree more. ZK USA, if that's how I pronounce that. Maybe Zakuza, but I don't want to offend anybody, you specifically. Man, I reach on a goalie for round 3 or 4. Yeah, like Igor and Hellebuck will go in the 4th round. I'm confident. That's what we've seen so far in FPPL. But those stats that were posted earlier don't scare me too much in terms of goalies. We've got Gensel 32, Tage 33. That's about where those guys are going. Those are both great picks. Um, Sending my shorts off to a really good start there. Big Jaw off to a really good start. RC goes Stamkos, so he's got 2 centers that are both dual eligible. That's about where we see Stamkos go. That's a solid pick. McDavid, PD Panarin is insane. I agree. That's a really good start for Sweet McJesus. It's been funny so far. It seems like most people are going ahead and um, grabbing McDavid related names if they're picking first overall. So that's always good to see. Um, I was a little skeptical earlier, but my internal panic is over. The stream was saying poor connection. We're back to excellent connection. So shout out Rogers for the great Wi-Fi so far. Braden Point at 35. That's somebody who I was shocked didn't go earlier. I'm keeping pretty quiet in terms of being predictive. I know we're a minute delayed, but I don't want to necessarily Nostradamus speak anything into existence here. Hellebuck first goalie off the board at 36. Um, the back half of this draft, these guys are off to a really good start. Obviously, first 5 rounds, unless you do anything catastrophic, you're going to end up with good players. But Hellebuck first goalie off the board. Most drafts so far, it's been Igor. We had Saros first goalie off the board last night in Division 4 Metro. Now we have Hellebuck here, and he goes Barkov with his second pick. So uh, pick 12 off to a solid start. Again, I'm not saying your name. I want to. It's funny, but I don't want to I don't want to make any mistakes here. So I'm not going to say that. Um, at least if that commenter that was in last night comes back, just remember I can't see him. Um, Samson couldn't agree more, taking the elite player over Bouchard, but personal preference in terms of people. Andy Beast, where do you like Barkov in this league? That's about where. Again, in terms of pure centers, I'd take him after Crosby. I'd take him after Bedard, just for that point ceiling. Barkov, we kind of know what we're getting year over year, 80, 85 points. Uh, but that's a good spot. And his teammate Verhaeghe goes at 38 to the Rink Rats. He has left wing eligibility, so no stress there for Rink Rats. 117 viewers right now. That's amazing to see. I think we were mid 80s in terms of concurrent viewers last night. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, we're running this one until about 10 after 9. Hopefully we fly through it. And then 9:15 we have Division 2 West kicking off that draft. So we'll make sure we get over to the start. From the inside, much appreciated there. Skate Forever, good to see you again tonight. Tage or Crosby? Crosby's going to be safer. He's still dominating. Tage definitely piques my interest a little bit more, just in terms of what he provides and in terms of the power play points that I'm sure we're going to see this year. Into round 4, we see Hyman. That's good value at 39 for a 50 goal scorer. We'll see what he does this year. Eichel, who we're very high on. Again, Sandine my shorts. That's his first pure C with Tage having the right wing eligibility. We're going to scroll down just a little bit so we can make sure we don't miss anything like we did last night. That's Big Sven learning from his mistakes. Got a bit of a goalie run here. Igor and Vasilevsky, third off the board. Didn't see that coming, but it's personal preference at this point if you want the elite goalie with the volume and with the team. Svechnikov there. I'm a big Svechnikov guy. I am emotionally ready to be hurt by Svechnikov again this year. I'm hoping I'm not, but we've talked about that in the Discord a little bit. Um, Definitely looking forward to seeing what he does. And then Saros at 44, fourth goaltender off the board. So far, I believe we just have three teams that don't have a defenseman yet. We had somebody last night not pick a defenseman until round 11. So I'm excited to see how his team does in Division 4 Metro. Wicked, appreciate that. What's Meyer's ceiling this year? I'd say 40 goals, 85 points. The shots and hits are going to be really, really good. Jaxis agrees. Thank you for that. Um, I want to say his 80-point bet is pretty good. I don't remember the odds off the top of my head, but Mike and I talk about those things on almost on a daily basis. After Saros, we have a dual eligible Jesper Bratt. He's another guy that'll be around that point per game. We know what we're getting. And another 40-40 guy is Kyle Connor going 46th. That's three sole left wings for soft dump, so kind of handcuffed there. One of those guys is going to have to be in the utility position if we go ahead with everybody playing on the same night. So we'll see what happens there. All things hockey. Sweet McJesus is really set up to win the draft. Just needs to be smart with the next 4 to 5 rounds. Couldn't agree more. What I usually say is the first 5 rounds, unless you do anything catastrophic, you're in a pretty good spot. Round 6 to 10 is where you will win your draft, in my opinion. After that, it's about lottery tickets, it's about good value, but that's just my opinion. After Connor, we have Stutzel. Pretty safe pick. We talked about Stutzel a bit last night. I don't think he's 90 points, but he's definitely not 65 that we saw last year. Sweet McJesus, speaking of being responsible with your next few picks. He goes Cider. He goes John Carlson. That is a really, really good start. I'm loving Sweet McJesus' team. Not only is he set up for success with having the best player in the league, he knows a thing or two. That's a very FP draft so far, grabbing Cider and Carlson on the turn as we go into the fifth round here. 50th overall, Morgan Riley. Nightfall going with offensive defensemen so far with Doug the Thug and with Riley. Just looking at the preview to see if this is a good spot to be scrolled. Looks pretty good. Do Myers ceiling this year? We got to that. Do you usually go off your own projections, or do you like to look at a bunch of others? Usually our own. I rely on the eye test a lot too. There are guys I love, there are guys I don't love, but I always have our FP projections up when I'm drafting. 51st is Sam Reinhart. That's really good value. He's a guy that shot astronomically high in terms of percentage last year. So I don't know if 54 goals or whatever he ended up with is achievable this year, but still going to be right around a point per game, if not higher, on a good team in Florida. Took Svetch in my keeper league. Buddy better be taking his vitamins this year. Yeah, hopefully we see a healthy Svetch. I still think he can score 40 in this league, man. I'm still bullish on Svetch. I currently have Matthews, Hyman, Yossi. Should I go goalie next? Is that um I'd go with best available forward next, I think. I'd really wait round 5, round 6 for a goalie, in my opinion, Ben. But it's up to you ultimately, right? Making sure I didn't miss anything in the comments. Thank you guys for being active. This community and what we do isn't possible without viewers. So really appreciate you guys in here. Really appreciate you guys on the regular videos commenting. Really appreciate you guys in the Discord, etc., etc. Catching up on the last 4 picks, we have Kempe, very safe. Chris Kreider, very safe. That's a pure left wing for Dubas. Zib, pure C for Brady Bunch. That's about where Zib's going, and I think that's really good value. And then the Jerome goes Ovi at 55. Good start for everybody here. Back-to-back defenseman. Big Jaw goes Heiskanen. Was that his first D, or did he grab one earlier? He got Makar. So Makar, Heiskanen, pretty good start. Those are my 2 favorite guys to watch live. So a little bit biased, but we'll see how it plays out for the fantasy season. McAvoy, then Sergachev, 2 very safe defensemen this year, barring any broken legs, barring any freak accidents. Those are guys that are going to do a lot for their respective teams in Boston and in Utah. Reinhardt dropped far. Couldn't agree more, but that's really good value. Nightfalls in the YouTube chat here. I feel like I'm reaching on D. It's pretty quick pace when it comes to D. So if you like those guys and those are the guys you grabbed, I would have waited on Riley maybe a little bit. I would much rather a McAvoy or a Sergachev that's going to do a little bit more away from the puck. But in terms of where you're selecting your defensemen so far, two in the first 5 rounds isn't bad at all for these drafts. Barzal goes 59. Interesting. So Rinkrat is loading up on centers. Obviously, these guys have dual eligibility. So does Kachuk. So no stress there, but just something to keep in mind as we go here. And then pick 12 goes with Uyghur. Again, I want to say it. It's a funny name. If you can read it on your screen, I'm a big fan of creative fantasy hockey names. I'm just not going to say it. He goes with Uyghur, who is looking to be power play one as of right now. Um, but we'll see. And he does a lot away from the puck, which is really good. Shirley Kempe must go soon. Yes he did. That was pick 50, 52, I believe. If 5.4 is what it is in my brain. Um, I took Hellebuck. Should I go for a winger, D, or center next? I'd go best available forward, Ben. I would also take Uyghur over Riley Dalton. Um, skate forever. I would probably go Tage over Crosby just for the ceiling. Muiz, Tage or Barkov, probably Tage for me. Just catching up. If you feel like I didn't answer your question, feel free to bump it to the top. Um, should have taken Uyghur over Cider. They're very similar. I think Cider is better in my opinion for the points floor, but we'll see. And then pick 12 goes with Jarvis on the turnaround. Jake Sanderson at 62. You guys, the FPPL, have loved Jake Sanderson. Um, Based on how many D have gone, that's fine. But if you're in a standard league and you see Sanderson at 62, you go, oh my goodness, who am I drafting with? But FPPL, you got to reach on those defensemen. Ottinger at 63, great value for RC as he's the fifth goalie off the board. I'm really high on him this year. I think this is the year we see an elite Jake Ottinger and not just a pretty good Jake Ottinger. Um, Very safe player with Keller and with Aho. Aho is going around here in drafts. I think I would have preferred him over Barzal. Not sure if I would have preferred him over Zib. That's a coin flip for me. I took Svetch this year, and I'm wondering what I'm getting myself into. If healthy, Svechnikov will have 80 points. He will have a great amount of shots and hits. That's just my opinion. Boldy, Stutzel, Kempe, can you please rank with FPPL scoring? I don't have it in front of me, but I'd probably go Stutzel, Kempe, Boldy, in my opinion. I love all three, but um, that's how I would rank it. Thoughts on the Tage pick there? That's about where he's been going. I love him this year, so hopefully our expectations are met, if not exceeded. But I believe he was around 33-ish. Yeah, 3-9. So both pick 33. That's pretty good for Svetch or Tage, in my opinion. Wyatt goes good value for Wyatt. We're hoping for 75, 80 points. Montour for Brady Bunch, that's pretty good. And then Wyatt on Minnesota. Matt Boldy goes right after. Um, those are guys. If you ask me to pick between Wyatt and Boldy, it's do I want sushi or do I want steak? I love both. I would eat both every day if I could. But um, two very good players there. And Montour, um, good hits, good shots, solid blocks. Seattle's going power play 1A, 1B right now. So I'm not sure what the point ceiling is going to look like, but we'll see how he looks in a new jersey on a new team. Nuge at 69th overall. Chile was only Jokinen off to a good start, not going with pure C's and Kempe and Nuge, and got a couple wingers, couple defensemen so far. So pretty symmetrical draft for I was only Jokinen. Larkin goes for soft dump. There's a pure C. It's solid value for Larkin, given the 250 shots and about 75 points. We'll see what happens this year. Marner or Tage? Probably Marner. The points floor is definitely safer. Um, but we'll end up seeing Chris Hollywood. Good to see you, bud. I appreciate that. Verhage and Braden going a bit later. No. Um, yeah, that's good value for point for sure. That's about where Verhage's been going. After Larkin, we've got Markstrom, who I'm pretty high on. That's a good pick for Nightfall there as the sixth goalie off the board, I believe. We should see Skinner here pretty soon. We'll see what McJesus does here because he's had a really good draft so far. Does he go goalie? Does he grab a couple of forwards? Does he go one forward, one D? Let's see here. Falk or Bolkfist? Falk, for sure. Bolkfist is a lottery ticket for now. Not really sure what his time on ice is going to be like, but Falk is going to be a beast. Caulfield at 72 is pretty good value. He's the best 40 goal scorer to have yet to score 40 goals, so I'm excited to see what he does this year. Um, no disrespect to the Habs fans, but the shots on goal should be immaculate. He almost touched, or he got just over 300 last year. Legs asked, has Dobson gone? Yeah, we had a D run here in the second round. Dobson went 2-7. So that's just what happens in the FPPL. I'm not really sure how to justify it other than you want to grab an elite defenseman early. That's what we've been preaching. So that's about where Dobson's going, late second, early third in these leagues. Crazy, crazy. I'm sure we'll see some more defensemen this round as it starts with Trocheck, pure center. Very good pick for McJesus. Does he have? He's got two pure centers now, so I'd stay away until the lottery tickets, in my opinion, just so you can make sure you're working in as many guys as possible every night, not having three pure C's this early. Tippett at 74. Number 74 goes 74. Buy a lottery ticket Nightfall. That's good planning there. 30-30 for Tippett seems achievable. 300 shots seems achievable. 150 hits seems achievable. We love Tippett. Um, soft up goes Matheson as our next defenseman at pick 75. Power play one to start. Um, we'll see what happens from there with Hudson emerging, but should be very safe. And Eric Carlson for chill. I was only Jokinen. He hasn't skated yet, so I'm a little bit concerned with what the games played are going to look like, but we know his ceiling when he's healthy for sure. Am I crazy taking Sergachev over Dobson and Uyghur? I would rank them Dobson, Sergachev, Uyghur, skate. That's just my opinion. Do Sven, who do you think will have a better draft tonight, Mike or Don? We'll see, Samson. We'll see. I'm excited to see how that plays out. Wicked's got back-to-back picks. He's excited about that. Um, we'll see. I think Don's picking third, so he's definitely going to go Matthews at 3. I'm just going to move my cursor off the screen. Sorry, boys. And then Mike is picking. I don't remember off the top of my head. Maybe 10th. So we'll see what ends up there. Very excited for Division 2 West kicking off at 9:15. Hopefully we can get this full draft in before that. Skinner goes 77 as the next goalie off the board, as expected. And then Brady Bunch goes Joel Eriksson Ek, which is a great pick. I'm just going to make sure Leon's got left wing eligibility, so not necessarily handcuffing with 3 pure C's. Zabinajad Eriksson Ek starting on most nights in the center position is very safe. So great job for Brady Bunch there with Joel Eriksson Ek at 78. Starting my 10-man league with Rantanen, Jack Hughes, Yossi. Congratulations for that. Took your advice with 0G and still got Wall and Kochetkov. That's as good as 0G gets. Those are two good teams. Those are two guys that could be elite goaltenders if they just have everything go right for them. So great job there, Josh. Drafting 14th overall in a 14-man draft. Who should I go? I would love to get Kaprizov there. Don't mind going Yossi with the pick 15. Would love either Kaprizov or JT Miller as your forward for sure. Jaxis, I have my keeper league draft tomorrow, not picking till the end of the second. Well, hopefully you did well last year with trading that first round pick. So we shall see. Mike confirmed he's picking 10th, so good luck there. After Joel Eriksson Ek, let's catch up a little bit. I've been loving the comments so far. Got to manage both here. Besser goes at pick 79. We'll see what happens there. Um, I don't know if he repeats quite the season he had, but we'll see. Bobrovsky for Big Jaw should be solid, but I'm wondering what a healthy and productive Spencer Knight does to his volume. And then we have DeBrincat, who should be more consistent this year. I'm hoping. Werenski for RC. I'm a big Werenski guy and non plus minus. Then we have four straight left wingers. The bottom two there at 8-1 and 8-2 are dual eligible, but Marchand and Hagel for Rink Rats. That's pretty good. And then pick 12 goes Fiala Konechny. I think I'd prefer Fiala Konechny if that was a 2-for-2 trade personally, but good value there from Marchand. Hopefully he's not out too long. I haven't seen the latest there. And then RC goes Nick Suzuki, a pure center to complement his two centers that have dual eligibility. So that's good value there for Suzuki. I'm sure we'll see Hischier this round too. I'm big on Hischier this year. Georgiev for Sandin, my shorts. We'll see what the volume's like, but he has a good team in front of him. Just trying to get my cursor off of here. Not too sure why. There we go. Then Faber, Letang, that's good value for those two guys based on the defensemen that have gone. Again, D go early in the FPPL, so I'm not too stressed out about that. Um, Sergachev's leg was upside down 5 months ago. Yeah, you're right, but he he should be a beast this year in Utah. I mean, Sean Dursey's always there to take a little bit of the brunt, and then I believe they brought in John Marino as well. So that decor is looking solid. What round would you take Mangiapane? That's probably a lottery ticket. I don't know if he goes in 12-team leagues, but if you want to take a shot on him, um, save it for the last couple of rounds. Absolutely worth a look in 14 team, or if you're in a deeper format than that. Um, Once you get to about 14 teams, you're just looking for first line. You're looking for value. You're looking for a points floor, right? After Letang, we have Drake Batherson, who should touch all categories. Good pick there. And then Dubas's water bottle goes Hannafin. Vegas looked to be doing, if I saw it correctly, I think Vegas might be one of those teams looking at power play 1A, 1B. At least that's what they've done historically. But Hannafin should be solid. I'm sure we'll see Theodore go soon as well, and Peter Angelo, Petrangelo, whatever you want to call him, soon after that. Back-to-back right wingers who should be solid this year. Marchessault, shots on goal are pretty good. And then Tuck should bounce back playing with right now he's with Paterka and Thompson. So that should be a really good first line in Buffalo. I'm hoping to get to a couple of games this year. I usually try to get to the Sabres game maybe once or twice a year. Don or Dovidas chimes in saying Don having a better draft for sure. We'll see, Dovidas. Love your content on TikTok. Donnie is not out of his element tonight. Not really sure what that means. Donnie is not out of his element tonight. Okay. FP Mike taking Yossi 10th. I'm not 100% sure there. But Dovidas if, might be going Voronkov third overall. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. After Tuck, we go John Tavares, pure center for Nightfall. That's pretty good value. Still worth a double-digit pick in terms of not slipping into the ninth and 10th round for Tavares. We'll see what happens this year at 5-on-5, but the power play points will absolutely be there, as well as the shots on goal. Thoughts on Konechny and Fiala? Captain Pie, is that you at pick 12? That the name I won't say. I like that. I'm big on Fiala. Um, I'm a little upset he didn't score 30 goals last year just because I had a bet on that. He finished with 29. I did cash in on his over 27 and a half though, but you know exactly what you're getting out of Fiala most nights. And he's in a good spot to succeed there. And Konechny has a very solid floor as well. He had a really good year last year. Should be should be good again this year. Playing with I believe it's Couturier and I'm spacing on the first line left winger, but Philly should be pretty good this year. McJesus grabs his first goalie, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, he goes first goalie with Sorokin, and then he goes Jordan Kyrou, who I'm huge on. I was hoping he he would pop off last year, but he didn't. And then some people are saying he got his coach fired. I'm not sure if it was him specifically or if it was a combination of factors, but really excited for Kyrou this year. Should see about 35 goals. Am I crazy to say 75, 80 points? I'm not sure, but we'll see. Back to back, really good category covering D men there for Nightfall and for Soft Dump. Petrangelo, Justin Falk. Falk should be his power play one to lose with some other guys being a little bit less experienced in St. Louis on that back end. So good pick there for Falk. Again, what we should see some more Dego. I'm thinking we see Seth Jones this round. Maybe Devon Taves, maybe Forsling. Um, this is where you're just kind of looking for value. Chilla was only Jokinen gets pick 100, and they go with Lucas Raymond. I've said my piece on him. I'd love to see more shots on goal, um, but we'll see what happens this year. 30 goals should be pretty safe, and then Dubas's water bottle goes Slavkovsky, who we're very high on this year for the shots, for the hits, for the upside. He had a really good second half. Brady Bunch goes Seth Jones, as I had mentioned. Um, solid player and non plus minus. I believe a few years ago, him and Truba and maybe Nurse were the only defensemen with 100 shots, 100 hits, 100 blocks. So interesting to note. Um, and here we go with the Jerome taking Nico Hischier. Quick correction, good call out by FP Don in our group chat. Saves are worth 0.6, not 0.2. I didn't make this graphic, so I'm not taking full responsibility, but I'll take some responsibility for sharing it on here. See if we can get that cleaned up. Maybe not tonight, but just so you know, in the FPPL drafts, saves are worth 0.6. It's pretty well Yahoo default. We just turned down shutouts a little bit from 5 points to 3 points. Another pure C for Big Jaw with Rupe Hintz. Good value there. Should be about 70, 75 points. He's got two pure Cs, as does the Jerome. Bedard Hischier for the Jerome, Hintz, and Aho for Big Jaw. Important to note that as we go. There's Devon Taves for Sandine, my shorts. And then RC gets Lafreniere at 106. That is pretty good value for a guy that should be an automatic 60, 65 points. I'd like to see some more shots, maybe 225, 230. We'll see. And Rink Rats grabs Gostisbehere, who should absolutely have power play one. I didn't know he had 50, 55 points last year, so we'll see what he does this year in Carolina. Pick 12, we go with Rasmus Anderson. Based on what's still out there, that's not too bad. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have the remaining players in front of me by any means, but Anderson at the end of round 9, and then he goes Swayman round 10. That's probably the latest I've seen Swayman so far. It's usually around round 8, so that's really good value for somebody who hopefully signs soon, hopefully doesn't miss too much time. Um, Maybe, just maybe, pick 12 can go back and grab Corpusalo later. I don't want to speak it into existence and ruin his draft, but so far, Yossi, Uyghur, and then Rasmus Anderson. All things considered for FPPL drafts, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Thoughts on Robert Thomas? He should go pretty soon here, as Rinkrats takes Freddie Anderson. These guys are a couple people looking to go 0G. Brady Bunch yet to grab a goalie. Soft dump. Chill. I was only Jokinen as well. So Freddie goes there. I'd prefer Kochetkov myself, but we'll see. I think they're just going to ride the hot hand there in Carolina. Back to Robert Thomas. He should go this round. Um, Incredibly good floor with points. He reminds me of Barzal, where he'll have 20-ish goals, 50-ish assists. I would love to see more shots personally, but we'll see what happens here. Another pure C as RC takes Bo Horvat. Good value there. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Forsling goes. Sending my shorts, rounding out the decor by round 10. That's solid. That's solid. With Darlene, McAvoy, Taves, Forsling should look to fill out Need a backup goalie, and then should look to fill out those forwards. After Forsling, we have Brian Rust, Sidney Crosby's partner in crime the last couple of years. Should be a good season if healthy. And then the Jerome goes Chikrin, who should be pretty good in terms of the peripheral stats this year in Washington. We'll see what his time on ice is like, um, playing either with or behind John Carlson. Brady Bunch goes Olmark. That's really good value for a good goalie on a team that we're not sure how we feel about in Ottawa. They'll probably push for a wild card. I don't love their back end other than Sanderson Chabot, but we'll see. Dubas's water bottle goes Elias Lindholm. That's a really good pick for somebody who should be right around 70, 75 points. Um, Maybe a bit of a career resurgence here with Boston in terms of Lindholm. He looked solid in Vancouver, but obviously wasn't in a key role. He's more of a complementary role on a team going on a playoff run. And then we see Brent Burns and Aaron Ekblad, two guys that were at one point really, really, really elite in terms of fantasy outlook. Should be good peripherals from both guys. I'm hoping Ekblad can get more than 40 points this year to really make it worth our while, but a safe pick there at 118 for soft dump. Where should Barkov go? Probably about round 4, if not round 5. Uh, Depends on what your team makeup is, with making sure you don't take pure C's or too many of them too early, in my opinion. Patty Kane for Nightfall. We'll see what happens this year. Father Time is undefeated, but Kane looked really good coming off that hip surgery last season. In a face-off league, in a league with face-offs at 0.2 and hits at 0.5, I have Trocheck and Eriksson Ek, Sam Reinhart, Rantanen, Dahlin, Uyghur, Ekholm, Matheson, Elias Lindholm. I can't see who commented that, but that's a really good team for a face-off league, going with some guys that touch all categories in Trocheck and Eriksson Ek. Great job there. Lindholm should be solid for that as well. Still waiting to see what McJesus does on the back-to-back. He goes Eric Gustafson, who will likely be power play 1 in Detroit. We haven't seen all out confirmation just yet, but round 10, that's for FPPL, that's pretty good spot for a guy like that. We'll see what happens. Tager Forsberg for me, much safer floor with how many shots he takes. Definitely a regression candidate. I agree there, but we shall see. Somebody in my points league just took Nylander at 6 while Matthews was still available. That is a blatant mistake, in my opinion. Sweet McJesus goes Paterka. That's really good value in terms of where he's been going in FPPL, for a first liner who should be 30 goals, no problem, and should be pretty good hit, or not hit, sorry, pretty good shots on goal total for sure. What do you think of stacking Kochetkov and Freddie? I like it. You got to be careful with where you go for it, as they're similar ADP, but I like it. Carolina should be a top 3 team in that division, no problem. So no stress there. Do you think going 2 forwards at 12-13 is better than 1 forward in Yossi? It depends on your league settings, honestly. If there's 2 really attractive forwards there, like say a Jack Hughes and Kaprizov, or a Miller, those 3 guys, I'm taking 2 of them. If you're looking at a, say, a JT Miller and a Nylander, maybe you look to Yossi. Um, but it depends on your league settings. Like, outside of the FPPL, you shouldn't need to jump all over defensemen too much. But if you're at that back-to-back point, you got to wonder what's left when you get to the 3rd round. If you can maybe get a Dobson or a Hedman, that's the risk you run with not taking Yossi. After Paterka, we go Thomas Harley, who had a really good year last year. Hopefully, he can build off of that this year. And then Marty Nikesh at 123, really good value. Chile was only Jokinen, goes with Ryan O'Reilly. It's a decent pick there. We'll see how his totals are affected with more offense coming in. And then Robert Thomas right after. I probably would have preferred Thomas over O'Reilly personally, but both good picks here in the 11th round. We'll start to see a few more pure C's go. We saw Lindholm and Horvat last round. Um, Off the top of my head, nobody really jumps jumps out off the page in terms of other pure C's still available. But once we get to our lottery ticket picks, there should be some good value there at pure C. Do we okay, we answered that. Any worries with that the blue line in Florida is too crowded? Um, Boqvist is really just a lottery ticket pick in my opinion, but in terms of Forsling versus Ekblad or Forsling and or Ekblad, I don't mind it too much there. So, should be a fine. It's just going to come down to who gets the power play one time and who has that additional upside, in my opinion. Similar with Vegas, as we see Theodore go at 127. I probably would have taken Theodore over Gustafson or Hyatt or Harley personally, but good pick there for Brady Bunch. And then the Jerome goes with UPL, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Some people call him 6K because he's got 6Ks in his name. The volume should be good in Buffalo after he outright won the starting job over Devin Levi, who struggled last year. Great pick there. Very FP of you, Big Jaw, going with Cam York. His peripherals look good. He had a solid year last year. Definitely took a step. And then Sandine, my shorts, goes Frankie Vetrano, who might see a dip in terms of overall production, but how do you say no to about 250 shots and 150 hits? Like that's just really good. And he's a guy that's been able to produce even in third line ice time historically in terms of his career. RC goes Vince Dunn. That's solid for where we're at. Hopefully he gets some power play upside a little bit with that 1A, 1B. They ran that last year, I believe, as well. It's crazy to me that you wouldn't want Jared McCann and an elite defenseman and Matty Beniers all together. You're gonna break them up and throw in some other players there. I'm not a coach in the NHL, obviously, but interesting. Interesting that they go with that. And Rinkrats has achieved the Carolina stack. He's probably going to grab an additional goalie, maybe 15th round or so, grab a third goalie, but that's really good there for Rinkrats. And then pick 12, we've got Scheifele, and then we'll see where he goes from there. That's good value for Scheifele. That was another pure C that I was waiting to see come off the board. Good value there for Scheifele, who should be good for 35 goals if I had to guess if he's healthy. How would you rank Eichel, Barkov, Bedard? I would probably go Eichel, Bedard, Barkov, Jordan. That's in my opinion there. Um, I think we're pretty caught up. Wicked again. Thank you for the reminder. We're gonna hopefully get this draft in. We're in round 12 now. The draft room has just opened for Division Two West, so we're 30 minutes out from that. Pick 12 goes with Jeff Skinner. It's a little early for lottery tickets in my opinion, but we'll see what he's able to do. He was right around point per game the last couple of years, and then he struggled this year with the Sabres and was bought out. So we'll see what playing with McDavid and or Draisaitl will do for his career. The shots on goal are pretty good, but we'll see what happens. I don't think he'll be power play one per se unless there's an injury, but I think it's a little early for lottery tickets. Pick 12. Um, Rick Gratz goes Brady Shea. I believe that rounds out his decor. Goes to spare Sanderson, Bouchard. Solid power play one dependent with a couple of those guys, but solid decor for Rink Rats. To do Clark or Spence, Brant Clark for me. Neither are going to get too much ice time off the start. They'll have to earn it, but in terms of that power play one upside, I believe we're looking at Brant Clark carrying the mail in Los Angeles, and then Buchnevich at 135. They're testing him out at center, so we'll see what happens there, RC, but should be a pretty good pick. Solid points floor with Buchnevich in St. Louis there at pick 135. Tom Wilson, Sandine My Shorts goes. Right wing, shots and hits will be there. Hopefully he stays healthy year round. Big Jog was Jared McCann. That's a very, very good pick with where we're at. And then the Jerome jumps on the lottery ticket train with a guy who has looked very good so far in preseason with Michkov. It's good value. We'll see what ends up happening with Michkov if that ends up being the steal of the draft here. Um, Then 3 very good picks right after that. I mean, these have all been really good picks. There were a couple that have been early, but, you can tell this is a competitive league for sure. We've got Boone Jenner, who, should be very consistent when healthy in Columbus. Gabe Vilardi, who we're very high on. Make sure you jump on if you bet responsibly, but make sure you jump on plus 500 for 30 goals for Gabe Vilardi. And then the number one goalie as of right now in Toronto, Joseph Woll. For Chill, I was only Jokinen. Did they have a goal? No, that's 0G for Chill. I was only Jokinen. Very good. I believe Soft Dump was the only team without a goaltender so far, and they go Thatcher Demko, who hopefully doesn't miss too much time, but it is absolutely worth a gamble picking Demko at 142. That is a great nickname from the inside. I couldn't agree more. I've seen it a little bit, and I had to kind of go, oh, who's that? Oh wait, yeah, UPL. So that's funny there. Draft time, picking first this year should be a no-brainer. Mitchell says, say Nechash again. I've heard it pronounced 7 or 8 different ways. Nightfall goes Kemper, which is a great pick. Um, Nightfall goes with Markstrom Kemper. Very good. Very good start there at goalie. I've heard Nakash. I've heard Nechas. I've heard Nikish. Um, all over the place. Mui's asked Boldy or Barkov. I'd probably go Barkov, but I love Boldy, so it's hard to decide. Silky Mitts, how is the order of the draft decided? 24 hours prior, we go ahead and do. It's a fun little football animated thing called 100-Yard Rush. I put all 12 names on the board, and football players run across the screen, and whoever comes first gets pick one, etc. So it's just completely random and just a much more fun way of doing it and presenting it rather than just putting the names in the hat or something. Bolkvist or Gustafson, probably Gustafson for me, a little bit more established in terms of what he provides. You know, I don't mean to brag, but way back in 2018, 2019, I was all over the Eric Gustafson breakout in Chicago when he had about 55 points, jumped all over power play one, got his jersey, the black and white Winter Classic Chicago jersey. Um, so a little bit more established in the league and a little bit more established in the power play specialist role. So that's my preference there. Nikolai Ehlers goes at 146. That's very solid for Ehlers. What I'm going to try and do on my other monitor real quick is get ready for the other draft, just so I'm not interrupting anything going on um, on Don's screen. We enter these drafts on presenter mode, so that's what you're seeing here. For the user, they're obviously in draft mode. So I'm going to go ahead and try and hop in on a separate window. Time running out here for Soft Dump, probably thinking about who to take. They go with Aiden Hill. That's a solid start for 0G. I'm just going to go ahead and enter the draft room on a separate window just so we don't interrupt the D2 West draft, but we are prepared for when that starts. Should be pretty seamless in terms of dragging that over to what you guys see later on. But just a little insight into what I'm doing because this is my second time doing this. Last night was the debut. Mike chimes in and says, "I say Nachas." Yeah, that's another one. ZKUSA says Nikas. We could do this all day. Chill, I was only Jokinen goes with DeBrusque, who I said it last night, but I've seen two Jake DeBrusques. I've seen a 60 point and I've seen a disinterested Jake DeBrusque. So we'll see what he looks like on a new team. Picks flying here in the 13th round. We see Truba, we see Toffoli, we see Matthias Ekholm. Big Jaw going with Dylan Gunther, who probably the highest, most intriguing pick out of those four. Toffoli should be solid. Truba should be solid. Ekholm should be solid. Sandine, my shorts, goes Tomas Hertl, who is looking to bounce back after a pretty quiet year, but we'll see. Vegas looks a little thin up front after all they've done, after the success they've achieved. They look a little thin up front, in my opinion. ZKUSA goes, how does Sam pronounce? Natchez. That's what we all go with. I agree. Let's get him in here. A couple pure right wingers here with Byfield and Zuccarello. I'm interested to see what Byfield does. I don't know if the peripherals will be there, but an intriguing player, former second overall pick in LA there. Rankrats goes Zuccarello, who's pretty safe, should still be number one right wing with Kaprizov there in mini. Pick 12 goes with a couple of Calgary Flames here. Sharon Govich was definitely an interesting player in the second half of the season last year. We'll see what happens this year if he can repeat. I would love to see I'd love to see Kadri go soon, just based on the upside and the floor that he has. And then Dustin Wolf, volume should be good. This is a volume goaltending sort of setup, so not a bad pick there at pick 12. I believe he had Swayman earlier, so going to need to grab one more goalie for sure to start the year, but we'll see what happens there. So we've reached the bottom of the draft board. No more scrolling for Sven. Mark Stone, Tyler Bertuzzi, two interesting players. We'll see how Mark Stone holds up in terms of health. Bertuzzi should be good for about 50 points. Not sure what the ceiling is like, but he is a Coppercliff, Ontario boy. That's where I'm from as well, so a little bit biased. Sandy My Shorts gets Mike's steal of the draft with Corpus Salo at pick 160. That should be solid with Swayman still unsigned. Um, Sam meta equals best meta. Couldn't agree more. Lottery ticket question: Fantilli or Celebrini? This year, I'm going to go Fantilli. That's just because I know nothing about how Celebrini is going to perform in the NHL. He could break his jaw like Bedard. He could have 100 points like Crosby did year one. I don't think either are super probable, but we'll see. I'm going Fantilli though. And we go Kopitar, another pure C, a solid point floor. Father Time's undefeated, but we'll see what happens this year for Kopitar and for Big Jaw. The Jerome goes Ingram, who should have solid volume over there in Utah. Brady Bunch goes Darnell Nurse, who touches all. We had talked about him earlier in terms of having the good floors for peripherals, so that's good there. Nichushkin, the first stash by Dubas's water bottle, other other than Demko, obviously, but Nichushkin is going to be out until November, if not December. Um, so we'll see what he looks like when he comes back. That could be a league-winning pick at 164 for Dubas's water bottle. Speaking of water bottles, I'm going to change out here. Down goes the shaker cup. In comes the shaker bottle. Tail end of this draft, so we'll see if I'm SpongeBob with the water. The I need it later on in the D2 West draft, but we'll see. It looks like we'll be able to finish this draft before jumping over to the other, so very excited for that. After Nichushkin, we see Claude Giroux, who this is probably depending on what happens there in Ottawa. I want to say this is the last year Claude Giroux is very reliable in terms of fantasy. I don't know what to look forward to next year, but we're not playing for next year. So solid pick with where we're at. For chill, I was only Jokinen. Soft dump goes with Mike's boy, Sam Bennett. Should have a really good floor. And another really good floor pick for Nightfall with Kadri. Um, Honestly, couldn't believe he was almost at 75 points last year, but or sorry, 70 points, but very, very safe pick with Kadri. Non plus minus, so no stress taking Calgary, San Jose guys this year. Sweet McJesus complements Binnington with Justice and Noonan, who should see a little bit more volume this year based on where how things look in Colorado. Very good third goalie pick with Sorokin missing some time for Sweet McJesus. You guys will have to let me know. We should have a little bit of time to analyze this draft. I'm going to make sure to take a picture of the draft board, obviously, so we have that. But you guys will have to let me know whose teams you've liked so far. Sweet McJesus goes Fantilli. Round 15 is a good spot for lottery tickets. Pick 12 went Skinner to start the 12th round. That was a little early for me. He could have ended up with, scroll up a little bit here. He could have ended up with a Jenner. with a McCann, guys who are definitely a little bit more established. Velarde, um, so that was a little early for lottery tickets, but we'll see what happens here. Fantilli, we have him projected for about 55 points, so we'll see what happens if he stays healthy in Columbus. I believe he's not power play one as of right now. Nightfall goes with a guy who had a very good year last year in Matt Duchene. Kind of a career saving year, I'm not going to lie. See what happens this year. Soft dump goes with the stash in Luke Hughes. I believe that's about 6 weeks he's out. We'll see what happens when we have him and Dougie healthy on the same D line. We haven't really seen that just yet with Dougie missing last year, with Hughes missing the start of this year. So we will see what happens there. Michkov with Fantilli and Celebrini, all big question marks, but I want one. Just based on positioning, I'd go with Michkov. Pure C is becomes a little bit saturated. You know, you want to maybe grab a Hintz or a Heischer or a Shifley, and you, grabbing Celebrini in that case or grabbing Fantilli in that case, you're just not going to have a spot to play them most nights, right? So at least Michkov, you're on the wing, you're trading out some other guys or some dual eligible wingers to make sure you can fit him in, but it's a little bit tough to squeeze in those pure C's in comparison. Seelovs goes after Luke Hughes. That's a solid 0G for Chile. Was only Jokinen. He goes, or they go Wall and then Seelovs. Brant Clark goes after that. That's fine value for Clark. Brady Bunch goes with a bounce back candidate in Dylan Cousins, who I'm excited for this year. The workhorse from Whitehorse, as they call him. Not sure how many people use that, but it's catchy. The Jerome goes Trevor Moore, one of FP Chris's favorite players before he was traded away from Toronto. Should be solid this year. Big Jaw goes with the stash with Drew Doughty. Not sure how much time he's going to miss, but should be a very, very good fantasy defenseman when he is back. Sandine my shorts with another pure C, Mr. Automatic 30 goals, Brock Nelson. We have him projected for about 32, which matches Yahoo's projection. Just for fun, I took him plus 850 to score 40. Again, gamble responsibly, only bet what you can bet. Um, we do have the sports betting channel in the Discord. It's pretty casual in there if you ever want to learn about stuff or you want to collaborate with other folks about betting, but we're we're not going to go out of our way to promote it just to be safe. Philip Pronik for RC, it's a safe pick there with where we're at in the draft. He had a really good year last year, so we'll see what happens this year. I'm just catching up here, seeing if I missed anything in the comments. Whoever drafts McTavish will have a steal. Silky Mitts, I like McTavish this year. Not sure what the ceiling is like, but with where we're at in the draft, I think I'd take him after Cousins and Nelson, but before some of the other centers that are going to be coming up here. Pick 12 goes back to back D with the floor in Sandheim, who had a really good year last year, and then with the ceiling in Hudson, who is going to break into the NHL this year. We'll see what the time on ice is like, but I think he's playing second pair right now, and we'll see if he eventually gets power play one. But that's a fine pick in the 16th round. I wouldn't reach on Hudson this year if anybody's asking uh, where we like him. I wouldn't reach, but it should be a good pick. Michael asks, round 15 too early for lottery pick. I think round 15 is where you should start looking. Round 14 seemed to be pretty good in terms of floor. Personally, I like to dedicate the last 3 rounds or so to those lottery ticket picks. Rink Rats goes Michael Bunting, who we'll see where he slots in Pittsburgh. He came over at the deadline. Not really sure what his usage was like, but he's a 55, 60 point guy. Would like to see a little bit more counting stats from him in terms of shots, in terms of hits. Maybe he's a Kunitz. He comes in there and he plays similar to a Kunitz, where he'll go be the first forechecker and free up pucks for Sid and or Gino. But we'll see. I think Ingram and Utah can make the playoffs. That's interesting. I I like it. There's McTavish, Silky. So good call out there. Pick 183 to RC. I think he had left wing eligibility last year, but we'll see what happens this year. Um, I'm waiting for him to make that splash. I don't know if it'll be him this year that does that. If it'll be his teammate Leo Carlson that does that. Waiting for something big in Anaheim though. Colton Parayko goes to Sandine My Shorts, and then Big Jaw goes Tristan Jarry. That's solid value for Jarry. The Jerome goes Thomas Chabot, ditto in terms of solid value. Maybe he ends up power play one if he stays healthy. Maybe all of this Sanderson call out is for nothing, but we'll see. I love Sanderson, but just playing devil's advocate there. Michkov has higher ceiling as long as he doesn't end up in Torts' doghouse. Sorry, I agree. And I'll get back to Papa Panda here. Utah interests me a lot. I think they'll be a team that's in the mix right till the end, but we'll see. I saw plus 170 to make playoffs. That's decent value if you want to tail it. Um, but I personally think there's not going to be too much shakeup in the West. I think we'll see all 8 teams that made last year playoffs make playoffs again this year. Back-to-back goalies for Brady Bunch and Dubas, going Montembeau and Stallers. Solid picks for where we're at. Chill, I was only Jokinen goes Teravainen. We'll see what his usage is like, but he's historically a pretty good 5-on-5 producer. Soft dump goes Gustafson's. As long as the volume's there, that's a really good goalie 3 pick. Demko's going to miss some time. That's who you went with round 12, right? Yeah, okay. So Demko's going to miss some time. A good pick with Gustafson. Solid pick with Aiden Hill. Nightfall goes Arvidsson, who I was thinking was going to get taken. That's good value for another guy looking to bounce back. He was injured last year. What round should Corpusalo and Kemper be drafted in, Samson? Uh, Kemper's like a round 10 guy, I want to say, as he's the established number one there. Corpusalo probably about where he went here, round 13, round 14. Um, Definitely a backup once Swayman gets signed, but the upside is there for sure, knowing that Swayman hasn't signed yet. Sweet McJesus going with Olofsson, an interesting player, reunited with Eichel right now on that top line. I read that he's kind of in a position where he's gonna catch the pass and fire it on net. So that's gonna bode well for his peripherals. He didn't play a ton last year, in and out of the lineup in Buffalo, but should be a career resurgence type year for Olofsson. Maybe we look at 25, 30 goals at the most. Um, and then Sweet McJesus rounds out his team. Very strong draft. He stashes Landeskog. It'll be interesting to see who he grabs with his waiver pick um, once he puts Landeskog on IR, but we'll see. Why does no one want Joey Decord or Jari? Scott, I think people are a little bit timid with how Pittsburgh's going to look this year. I want to say Nedeljkovic had a solid amount of starts last year in terms of that, so we'll see. Um, and Decord, not really sure what's going to happen there with between him and Grubauer, and I'm not really sure how I feel about Seattle. I would probably take Decord in this last round if I'm looking for a third goalie based on what's been taken. Nightfall goes Josh Norris, who, if healthy, will score 30. Lehkonen for soft dump. Not sure how much time he's going to miss, but a solid fantasy player. Malkin for chill. I was only Jokinen. That's good last round lottery ticket. Hopefully, he remains productive this year. Dubas's water bottle rounds out his decor with Gudis. Should touch those peripherals for him. Shane Pinto for Brady Bunch. I'm interested in that pick to see what happens. Absolutely a lottery ticket, no pun intended for his suspension there, but a good pick there. See what happens in Ottawa. The Jerome goes Nick Paul, who had a sneaky amount of power play points last year. I think Hagel took his spot on that top unit, but a productive player, so to say. We'll see how that turns out if he can remain fantasy relevant in 12-team format all year. Clip Champion asks Cousins or Lindholm. Lindholm for me. I agree with you, Djax. 3 of Hill, Ingram, Kemper, and Decord will give you a league-winning team. Yeah, if we're going 0G, um, I agree, Scott, for sure. Captain says thoughts on Zegras this year Injury risk is worrying, but he could be a deep sleeper. I like that they moved him over to the left wing, to be honest. So we'll see what happens there for sure. Um, but I like that they moved him over, and I hope that bodes well for him. After Paul, we have Jonathan Drouin, we have Jack Quinn, two interesting players there, should be fantasy relevant, and then RC with, in my opinion, Dostal down here at pick 202 could be the steal of the draft. That's his second goalie after Ottinger, so very very sneaky by RC. For those who don't know, John Gibson's going to miss some time. Anaheim's not great, but the volume will be solid for Dostal. Pick 203, we have Jeremy Lauzon to round out Rinkrat's team. And then lastly, uh, again, with presenter mode, pick 204 ends up being glitched out. Last draft, I guessed it would be Barrett Hayton, but we'll see what happens with that. But that concludes our first draft of the night. It is 9:09. That is couldn't have been better timing in terms of what we're looking at for the rest of the evening. So amazing, great work here by Division 4 Pacific. I'm going to take a picture of this draft board before anybody gets mad at me, and then we'll go ahead and pivot over to Division 2 West. Might not be able to get round 17 in this screenshot, but that's okay. We do have a couple minutes, so I'm going to get the other draft ready, but feel free to let us know. I'm going to post these in the Discord as well when I have a sec. So feel free to let us know who you think had a really strong draft as we prepare for, of course, the Division 2 West. Let's go ahead and get that up and ready. I'm going to close that out. Great draft to everybody involved. And now let's prepare for Division 2 West. Going to wait for the preview to update to see how this looks. I think we gave McDavid a little bit too short of a haircut with the last one. But we'll see. Just giving it a second here. It looks pretty good once it's fully expanded. Will this stream continue to the next draft? Yes, it will. We're just preparing now. We have about 4 minutes to go before the next draft. I'm not going to change the panel on the left side. However, this is Division 2 West, so these are folks who may have made playoffs in their league last year for the most part. Very strong draft coming up. I'm expecting big things. We've got 17. We've got Revenge of the Mac. We've got FP Dawn. We've got PA or Lebby in the Discord. We have Almond. We have No Regretskis, Squids, and also Dusters. We've got Daily Dose Hockey Jake, Star Wars Revenge of Mudang. That's a solid name. We've got FP Mike, who refuses to change his name just yet. It's still Michael's Majestic Team, but FP Mike is picking 10th overall here. We've got a hidden team, and we have back-to-back Jack. So we'll see. I believe that's Wicked at pick 12. We'll see if he gets Jack Hughes and Jack Quinn in this. Only one way to find out, I suppose. Everything looks solid in terms of where we're at. About 3 minutes to go here. Let's see if we have any other YouTube comments to check up on. Thoughts on Wool? I went 0G, got Wool and Kemper. That's really good for sure. It's really good. Got 2 minutes here, so I am just going to sneak away real quick. And we are back. Thanks so much. Mike wants me to refresh to see if his name's gonna update. So we'll see if that wrecks anything or if it's gonna look okay. Looks okay to me, and it looks like Mike has in fact updated his name. That's great. It is now Bennett Breakout, and he's got the draft photo of Sam Bennett. He should have found one of him trying to do the pull-ups, in my opinion. But solid looking there. Um, and just to recap, I am going to share the draft board when I get a second. Probably won't be till after this draft. Just don't want to mess anything up on my end. Um, but we've got about 30 seconds to go, or sorry, 15 seconds to go before 17 takes McDavid at first overall, unless something else happens. No music, Sven. Absolutely not. Um, Sam says no music. Yeah, you're right. Um, Dalton says, would you take Sanderson over Carlson? Uh, if Carlson was healthy, no. No, I wouldn't. But this year is going to be tricky. Um, Dear Sven, as a member of Division One FPPL, we'd be thrilled to get the draft over right on stream. It would be a thrilling experience that a few people would be able to witness live. Dip, I'm just not sure what it's going to look like, to be honest. Um, I would love to, but just not too sure what it's going to look like on stream. So I uh, I think I'm just gonna have to post it in the Discord, but maybe I'll share it in the FPPL league wide chat, as I'm sure a lot of people will be tuning into Division One. No real surprises here through the first six picks. We go McDavid, McKinnon, Matthews. Levy goes with Draisaitl. Almond goes with Pasta. No Regretskis goes Kucherov at 6. So very good value. Those three players have been pretty interchangeable in terms of 4 through 6. Squids and also Dusters goes Makar at 7. So we'll see what Jake decides to do here at 8. Maybe he goes Rantanen. Maybe he maybe he would prefer a different player. He goes Hughes at 8. Wow, I think that's the earliest we've seen Hughes. By no means a bad pick, but Jake going with this guy, Jack Hughes at 8. Star Wars Revenge of Mudang goes Rantanen at 9. Love Mudang. Leave a like for Mudang. We've got over 100 people watching Division 2 West right now. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everybody who ends up sticking it the whole way out. Mike goes with his boy Brady Tkachuk at 10. No surprises there. We'll see what's available on the flip. Hidden team goes with Philip Forsberg at 11. Wow. Really betting on that ceiling for Forsberg. We'll see what happens there. Wicked goes with Kaprizov, Kachuk back to back. That's a very good start on the turnaround. We'll see what Hidden decides to go here. He goes Yossi at 14. No surprise there. Mike's probably a little bit upset, but he has Darlene to choose from. He has Bouchard. He has Nylander, Panarin. Lots of good picks available here in round 2. Silky, we finding out the order in the Div 1 Discord. Yeah, after this. I will absolutely post it after this. Michael's Darlene at 15. No surprise there. We'll see what Star Wars Revenge of Mudang decides to do here. Could go defenseman like we've seen the D runs. Could go with something else here. We will see. Everything looks pretty good on your guys' end. I'm just going to go a little bit lower. JT Miller for Star Wars, and then Jaco's Evan Bouchard. No surprise there based off of what I've seen and heard from Jake so far. Um, One of our Discord mods recently added to the squad. Um, he was in the Discord last year as well, in the Creators League last year as well. Um, so we chat a little bit. No surprise there. Squids and also Dusters with a solid start going EP 40. This might be the latest we see Willie go if he goes here. I traded Matt Kachuk for Pedersen in a face-off league. I'm not the most familiar with face-off leagues. It is a Cats league, so that seems like a good trade. I would prefer Kachuk, but I've never played a face-off league, to be honest. So It seems pretty even. Nylander for no regrets keys. Allman goes Panarin. Good value there to round out our top 20 with Levy on the clock. I'm interested in three players that could be sleepers at the end of the draft. Chris Hollywood says Zaka, Marchenko, Zellweger. I like Marchenko the best out of those three, just based on his floor. Zaka should be line one for most, if not all, of the year in Boston, and Zellweger is a pretty good lottery ticket. Lottery ticket, sorry, with the power play one upside. Great pick, great start for pick number two, Jared. Couldn't agree more. Getting McKinnon at two. Thanks for that, Seth. An amazing start for his draft. I'm very excited to see the rest of his draft. Me too. Levy goes Dobson at 21. Not out of the ordinary in the FPPL. I'm very high on Dobson this year. That'll leave an interesting next pick for Don here. Does he go defenseman or does he hope he can get a defenseman with his next? I know which defenseman he would take here, but I'm interested to see if he goes forward instead. He goes Zach Hyman. Interesting. Okay. So breaks up the stack potential for 17, gets a left wing, right wing eligible guy. Revenge of the Mac goes with Mitch Marner. This is me, light bulb going off, realizing that he's Revenge of the Mac because he knew he was getting McKinnon. Great job there. I believe that's Jared, a very active Discord member. 17 goes with the McDavid Hedman stack that we've seen and goes Jason Robertson to start the third round. Good value there for Robertson. Chat's not loving Forsberg at 11, but we'll see. The floor's there. I just don't know what the ceiling's like with the additions they've made. Jared goes Quinn Hughes to start the third round. It's about where he's going. We'll see. I could potentially see Don going. I don't know if he'll go defenseman here, but you kind of leave yourself exposed based on the habits of everybody. Does he go three forwards and really secure that, or does he go defenseman here? We'll see with about 20 seconds left on the pick timer. What are you ranking Cooch, Draisaitl, Pasta? They've been going pretty interchangeably. I think Kucherov has the highest point ceiling. Don goes Gensel. Okay, so center, dual eligible wing, and then left wing. Gensel should have a really good year in Tampa, so not a bad pick by any means. Hopefully these guys leave some defensemen for Don in picks 4 and 5, rounds 4 and 5, sorry. We'll see. Forsberg, Yossi stack. That's a good call out by some of you guys. Interesting stack. I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see if he ends up taking an all Nashville draft, I'll be befuddled. But we'll see what happens here. Levy goes Crosby. It's about where we're seeing Crosby at this point in the draft. Off the top of my head, I don't think anybody's fallen per se. As we round out the top 30 here with no regrets keys, Allman goes Eichel, a guy again we're high on for this season. We'll see what happens in Vegas. Hopefully he stays healthy. Cooch, dry, pasta. Probably Cooch, pasta, dry, in my opinion. And that's just based off of ceiling. No hate for Draisaitl, but we'll see what ends up happening, obviously. Would y'all take Michkov or Zegras? Michkov for me. What's your thoughts on Bob, Hill, Hagel for Vasi, Gunther? Two goalies for one goalie. Oh, Ham, you made this trade, so I'm going to stay out. This is in my league. It wasn't with me, so I'm going to stay out of it. But no regrets goes Adam Fox. Not my favorite defenseman for fantasy, but the points floor is absolutely there. Squids and also Dusters getting Braden Point. That's good value for Point. Jake goes Tage Thompson at 32. It's about where he should go, so good pick. And then Star Wars goes with Stutzel. I'm sure Mike would have loved either of those guys. Wouldn't be shocked if he goes Timo Meyer here, though, with his third round pick. We'll see. Very good first 33 picks for D2 West. Not sure how this is going to differ from the draft we just saw. I was in the Div 2 East draft with some of the other folks in the Discord, and it was definitely a very competitive draft. Might go Sam Reinhart at 34. We've seen him fall in other drafts. That's good value for Reinhart. I'm not sure what his ceiling is like this year. I don't think it's 57 goals, maybe 40 to 45 goals, but we'll see. Hidden team goes with Stamkos. It's about where we're seeing Stamkos, but not my guy. Wicket off to a very good start. He goes Meyer, and then he goes McAvoy, who Mike and I are absolutely high on. Hidden goes with Saros, first goalie off the board at round 4. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Saros was first off the board last night in D4 Metro, so no shock there. And Mike is left with a decision. Does he grab a forward? Does he grab a defenseman? Um, could see Sider or Uyghur, could see maybe Svechnikov, could see maybe Kreider. Um, I'm going to try and be as not predictive as possible, but I know Mike and Don very well, and I know Wicked pretty well. So I might give a little bit of insight into what I'm thinking. It'll be fun for them to kind of watch this back or if they're watching live. Michael Zib, pure C, round 4. That's somebody Mike is high on. We'll see what happens this year. He's got 3 centers so far, but Brady and Reinhardt are both dual eligible, so no stress there. And the one defenseman with Darlene. Star Wars goes with Morrissey. That's about where he's going in these drafts. Um, see what happens here. Most guys have taken a defenseman so far, except for Dawn and Almond. Pretty even distribution, much more even compared to Division 4, in my opinion. This is a little bit more authentic. Obviously, the FPPL defenseman will fly, but um, but we'll see what happens as we go here with Jake on the clock at pick 41. He goes Bedard, so he so far has 2 dual eligible centers, much like Mike. He grabs a pure C. We'll see what Bedard can do this year. I just pray that he stays healthy and has a good season. John asks, how do you join these leagues? We are full for now, but if one of the guys that isn't picking right now, maybe Mike, if you don't mind tagging John in the interest list, we are actively looking for folks to take spots for next year, and we'll be notifying you as soon as we go live with next season. But we are currently full this year with 12 full leagues, 144 managers. The FPPL has been a really, really fun thing to be a part of and fun to get off the ground. This is just the second year we've been doing this. Squids and also Dusters, going with my boy Svechnikov. We talked about him a little bit in the previous draft. I am emotionally ready to be hurt by him. I've done all the training to be emotionally ready to be hurt by him, but I'm hoping he has a really really good year. Pick 42 is good for Svechnikov. I took him 3rd round in my draft just because um, I liked him a lot more than what was on the board. Back to back D here. That's about where Sider and Dougie have gone in FPPL drafts. So solid there for Almond. That's his first defenseman. No Regretskis grabs his second. See what Levy does here, but Don probably going Uyghur with his first D. We'll see. We're a minute delayed here, so hopefully that doesn't impact Levy's decision. He goes Uyghur. Sorry about that for calling that out, but we'll see what Don does here. Still lots of defensemen left on the board. Anyone have fantasy spots open in their league? Matt K, if you're in the Discord, there are people that occasionally call it out. We usually ask that people don't talk about buy-in or talk about money, just so we're kind of kept out of that. Don going with Wyatt Johnston, pick 46. That's good value for Wyatt. Gonna have to take a D at some point unless he goes with the 0D strat we saw last night. I don't think Don's gonna go that route, but we shall see. And Jared goes with Igor, second goalie off the board. Good spot to take him. 17 with back-to-back starts with Jesper Bratt. Seth shoutcasting the Jared's picks live in the comments. I might just leave it to him, but we'll see. I'll weigh in, Seth, if that's okay. But solid draft so far for Jared. Appreciate his buddies tuning in the comments. Back to back for 17. He goes Barkov. Good pick there at pick 49. He's still a top 50 player in my opinion. And Jared complements that with also taking a pure C and Sebastian Aho. Good value there for Aho as well. Jason asks, is Jack Hughes healthy? As far as I know, we're going to hope for 75-ish games. We have him projected for 70 and about 90 points. Hopefully he plays all 82. You never want to root for injury, regardless of how much you like or hate a team. You never want to root for injury, in my opinion. Um, Skate asks, would you have taken Eichel there or waited? Such a high risk at round 2. Eichel went round 3, but I know what you mean. Don't mean for that to be condescending at all. Um, it's a solid pick for Eichel. If he stays healthy, it will be solid. Don takes his first defenseman with John Carlson. Levy goes Kempe. Um, maybe not how, and I'm always interested to see because I feel this too when you're preparing for the draft, you're going through the scenarios in your head, and then you're 5 rounds into the draft. Is this how you imagined it would go? Are these the players you would have hoped to be available? Did you have to use all more of the pick timer than you wish you had? Um, it'd be kind of fun to kind of radio into Mike or Don right now to see what their thought process is. We'll get a taste of that Tuesday night as um, Don and Chris are going to be going live with the Creators Draft, I believe, and they're both in that league. So we'll see if we get some analysis from them. Allman goes Cole Caulfield. That's probably the earliest we've seen Caulfield so far, but I like the pick. Um, Again, we're looking at 30, maybe 40 goals. We're looking at 300 shots. So very good for Caulfield. Maybe a bit of a beneficiary of Lion maybe being injured. Again, we never wish for those, but we'll see what happens there. One less mouth to feed if you're Slavkovsky, if you're Caulfield, if you're Suzuki. No Regretskis goes Ovechkin at 54. Could be a steal. I don't think he breaks the record this year, but should still be good for 30 goals, close to 300 shots. Do Mitchell loves this Pred stack. Yeah, no complaints there. Ham loves it too. Silky says Dylan Gunther with 2 goals, 1 assist, 4 shots in 13 minutes. Wow, wow. We'll see where he goes in this draft, Silky, but that's really good to see. Djax drafted him 155th overall, so that's solid. Um, Hidden might be a Preds fan. We'll see. All things hockey. Um, I don't know them particularly well, but Jack also asking for the FPPL waitlist. I'm gonna try and link it here in a little bit. I usually have it open. Catching up in a couple picks, we go with a couple more pure left wings. Kreider and Kyle Connor. Mike wishing he would have had Kyle Connor. Um, Star Wars goes with Morgan Riley, so Mike is up with pick 5. Can you recap the first round just got in? Sure thing, Goose. I'll scroll up just a little bit. No surprises in the first 6 picks. Makar 7, Hughes 8, Rantanen 9, Brady 10, Forsberg 11, Kaprizov 12. Uh, Hope that helps. If I went too fast, I'm going to be posting the draft board in the FPPL Discord later. Mike grabs a goalie here with Hellebuck. No 0G for Mike. That's solid value as he's the 3rd goalie off the board, and he starts a goalie run. I don't know if that's panic from the other guys seeing Mike make a move like that, but Hidden goes with Vasilevsky. That's double goalie, so he's going very strong with goalies. And then Wicked on the back-to-back goes Ottinger and Boldy. Good picks there. Hidden goes Clayton Keller. A couple of dual eligible wingers that we should see um, good things out of. Mike would probably normally go Wyatt Johnston here. Actually, never mind. Don took him 4th round. Sorry about that. I should open my eyes a little bit here. Sider over Uyghur. I think he should have a higher points floor based on what I've seen. Um, Both very very good picks. Like they went 2 picks apart in this draft, so that's they're very very similar players in that regard. I personally prefer Sider, but I ended up with Uyghur in my Division 2 East draft. Might go Sergachev. That's a solid pick. Round 6, his second defenseman after Darlene. very solid there. Solid start through the first 6 picks for both Wicked and for Mike, in my opinion. Sider, tons of blocks. I think he finished second in the league last year. Um, Good call out, D-Jax. We recapped the first round. Good value for Aho. I don't like the 2C for Jared this early. Seth's a little bit nervous for his boy Jared there, but we'll see how the rest of the draft shakes out. Star Wars goes Trocheck. That's a solid pick there. Just going to make sure he's okay. He's got 3 centers so far, all his first 2 are dual eligible. Trocheck with the pure C. Good value there for Trocheck, though. Jake goes with Heiskanen. I've said it till I'm blue in the face. Love, love, love watching him play. Not sure what we're going to get fantasy wise. Squids and also Dusters goes with Faber, round 6. That's a little early in my opinion, but hopefully no sophomore slump there. Um, Yahoo's projecting him for about the same amount of points he had last year. So we'll see what that looks like. He's going to get plenty of time on ice. No Regretski goes for Haggy. Very good pick at 67th. Allman goes Werenski. That's solid, but a little early in my opinion. But that's how D go in this league. And Levy grabs his first goalie with Markstrom at 69 overall. Very nice. Very nice. Love Markstrom this year. I think Skinner's the next goalie off the board, if not Bobrovsky, based on what we've seen so far. But FP Don on the clock, 1 defenseman, 4 forwards so far. Does he go goalie? Does he follow that trend? Or does he go with best available skater here? Hit the thumbs up, boys. Only 35 likes so far. Don goes Nuge. That's solid value at 70th overall. Hopefully he's with McDavid all year. And it's crazy to think that Nuge had did he have about 100 points 2 years ago, and then he regressed a little bit last year. We'll hopefully he finds somewhere in the middle this year, about a point per game. Hopefully some good power play points. Jared goes Montour. Based on where we're seeing Montour go, that's pretty solid. Love his peripherals. We'll see what the power play points look like this year with the 1A, 1B. It's been interesting to see where people take Montour and then where people take Vince Dunn, just as they'll kind of pass the ball back and forth there. Uh, Dip would like me to let Jared cook, or no, sorry, Dip would like Seth to let me cook, I think, or maybe Jared. I don't know. I'm gonna stay out of it. Back-to-back picks for 17. He goes back-to-back pure left wingers with Slavkovsky and Fiala. He also has Robertson, so we'll see if that handcuffs him a little bit. 2 pure C's, 3 pure left wingers for 17 so far. We'll see how that shakes out, but 2 good picks uh, ending the 6th round and beginning the 7th. Jared goes Seth Jarvis. That's very solid there. Don grabbing a second defenseman with Matheson, who should be fairly safe to start the year in Montreal. Non plus minus, so we're all good with that. Levy goes Joel Eriksson Ek, or Jeek as we call him. That's his second pure center, with Draisaitl and Kempe having dual. So good pick there. Jeek has been almost a staple in the 7th round for all of these FPPL drafts. Allman goes Konechny. Again, that should be pretty good. Had a good year last year. Hopefully we see about 250 shots, about 70 points. Regretski's goes with EK65. We'll see how that looks. He hasn't skated just yet, I don't think. Logan knows hockey. How can I get my team rated from you guys? Are you in the Discord, Logan? We do have a rate my team channel in there that Don's pretty active on, and myself and the rest of the mod team try to get in there as often as we can. Um, so feel free to post it there. I'm gonna go ahead and on my other monitor open up the Discord link and uh, the the weight form for FPPL. I'm gonna open both of those up and comment them right now, just so you guys have that. Um, Catching up, we went Owen Tippett. Mr. should be automatic 30-30. Will touch shots and hits fairly well. Jake goes with Barzal, who's solid for fantasy. Stuart Skinner for Star Wars, and then Mike goes with his guy Jake Sanderson, 7th round. You would hate for Mike and Don to be off brand in this draft. I think they've been pretty on brand so far. Hellebuck round 5 is good value for Mike, and then he goes back to back D here, round 6, round 7. Hidden goes with Dylan Larkin, pure center. And then Wicked goes with Seth Jones to round out the 7th round. Based on what's there, that's pretty good. I wouldn't be shocked if Falk goes soon as well, just for that value. And then Wicked rounds out the beginning of the 8th round with DeBrincat. Solid draft so far. Cider isn't PP1. Uyghur is PP1. Tough not to take the PP1 guy over Cider. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's PP1 for now. I want to say they're giving Tyson Berry a look in camp, and obviously there's some younger guys that might take a little bit of the load off of him. Hidden goes with Kyrou, pretty good pick there, and then Mike grabs Nico Hischier, pure center. Is that his second? Yeah, he's got Zib, and then he's got Hischier. So through 8 picks, people are starting to round out their team, give it some identity. Few people have yet to take goalies, so we'll see where that falls. If we have any 0G strats here, Star Wars goes Hagel. And before I forget again, let's go ahead and link the how to join. This will show you that you're about 60 seconds delayed. Jake's still on the clock, so I haven't missed anything here. And there's the Discord. So our Discord is always growing, and it's a really good community where people can weigh in on your picks, weigh in on your team, discuss trades, even just chat while the games are on, preseason and then regular season starting next week. Very, very fun place to be, and a fun hockey community in the Discord. And then the FPPL how to join is there. It's just an interest list for next year as of right now. So feel free to fill that out. Nothing is required in terms of subscribing to the Patreon or paying for anything right now. We'll contact you when we're live. Catching up here, Jake goes Bobrovsky. That's about where we're seeing him. I believe that's the 8th goalie off the board, if I'm remembering correctly. Squids goes with Hannafin. Hopefully PP1 for most of the year in Vegas. We'll see what happens there. Marchand for Regretsky's. Hopefully he's not too banged up, but good pick. Allman goes to Tavares, who we saw around pick 95 last draft, so it's consistent. Power play points will be there. Levy goes with Marchessault. Good shots on goal floor. Hopefully he can touch 30 goals in a crowded Nashville top 6. It'll be interesting to see what the power play points are like, but we will see. Skate asks, I like Heisk over McAvoy. I agree. Heiskanen definitely has a higher ceiling. McAvoy just does a lot more peripherally. Heiskanen did hit that 75 points 2 years ago, but regressed last year. I hope he's somewhere in the middle. I prefer McAvoy for fantasy. I prefer Heiskanen in real life. Don grabs his first goalie with Sorokin, who hopefully doesn't miss too much time. I'm not sure if that's still up in the air or not. Work's been super, super busy the last couple days, so I haven't been right finger to the pulse in terms of the NHL news, but I'll get caught up here as life stops getting in the way. Jared goes Justin Falk. I believe that's his 3rd defenseman. 17 on the back-to-back goes Lafreniere. Very good pick there. And Swayman, it's about where we're seeing him fall, round 8-ish, round 9. Hopefully he signs soon. Jared goes Raymond, who I've said my opinion on till I'm blue in the face. I don't love him at this ADP, but I hope I'm wrong. And then Don grabs his 3rd defenseman with Letang. I was a little bit nervous for Don, not gonna lie, with waiting till round 5 for D. But 3 of his last 5 picks have been defensemen, so he's made up that lost ground and is carving out his team here as we go. Solid first 9 rounds of this draft. We are flying. We're about 30 minutes in. These guys have done their homework. A couple of people have used that pick timer all the way down to the last, but everyone seems to kind of know what they're taking. Everyone's done their homework, obviously. These guys all did fairly well in FPPL Season 1. Most, if not all, of these teams made playoffs in their leagues. We had 7 leagues last year. We have up to 12 this year. Amazing demand for what we do and for some fun, competitive fantasy hockey. So thank you to everyone that signed up this year. Thank you to everyone that signs up in future years. It's only getting started here for us at Fantasy Puck. Batherson rounds out our first 100 picks. Good pick there for Levy. Again, should touch all categories outside of blocks. Alex Tuck for Almond. It's about where we're seeing him. He's somebody that I want to succeed, but I think I'm going to pass on him personally. Richard, to your point, thoughts on Besser? I've touched it on it a little bit here and there. I love the environment he's in. I don't know if he'll be able to repeat the year he had last year, but he's in a good spot to succeed. So hopefully he's able to do that. Regretsky's goes Rupe Hintz. Round 9 is earlier than we've seen Hintz go, but it's still good value for a 75 point player, in my opinion. Would love some more shots out of him this year, but doesn't really touch peripherals too much. Power play points should be steady if he's healthy. He played 80 games last year, so I'm not too concerned with that this year. The running joke a couple years ago was he was pretty much day to day and banged up almost all year. Squids goes with Besser. Richard calling that out just a couple of picks ago. Um, so solid pick for ninth round. Hopefully we see 35 goals. Saw a rumor Swayman to the Ducks for Gibson in a 2025 first. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't know why Boston would do that, to be honest, but um, I guess maybe they don't want to spend that much money on two goalies, having taken on Korpisalo's contract. There's Dylan Gunther and there's JJ Paterka. Mike probably punching his desk that he didn't get either of those guys. As those are two players he was high on. Good, solid round 9 picks for Jake and for Star Wars. Mike goes with Nikesh or Nachus or however the heck you want to say it. Hidden goes Chikrin, and then Wicked. Is that his first goalie, or did he go goalie earlier? He went Ottinger. He complements that with Georgiev, and then grabs a pure C with Robert Thomas. Hidden going back to back D with Petrangelo. I've heard it also Peter Angelo, but that's a little bit too much pronunciation talk for one live stream, so we're gonna leave it at that. Matt says Rupe is the day-to-day game time decision king. Yeah, we were very familiar with that. I believe that was 2 years ago. It seemed like he was just battling something all year. I was very happy to see him get 80 games played last year. Mike running out of time on the pick timer here. Let's see what he does with his pick. He goes Kemper round 10. That is the second goalie for Mike, complimenting. I believe he took Hellebuck round 5. Solid start so far. Um, we're very high on Kemper. I already know who Mike's gonna probably try and get with his third goalie if he can. Star Wars goes Demko, which is an interesting play. I'm gonna avoid it this year personally, just because we're not sure what we're gonna get out of Demko. They did sign Kevin Lankinen, so we'll see what the usage is like, or if they ease him back. They play a pretty tight system in the sense that um, they can probably get it done with Shilovs. They could probably get it done with Lankinen. Will they ease Demko back this year? Mike and I have a Cats League draft coming up Tuesday night. I decided I'm not keeping Demko. I believe I'm going with Meyer instead as my fourth keeper. Jake goes with Gostisbehere. That's about where we're seeing him go. Yeah, very interested to see what Demko ends up being this year. Mike is not happy with not getting either Gunther or Paterka, but that's what happens, man. These Division Two West, I'm sure the other 11 managers want want who Mike wants. So we'll see what happens here. I think everyone's had a pretty solid draft so far, in my opinion. But we'll take a look at the board when we're done here. Arc picked up Rob Thomas in round 17 in a 9-person league. That's a good late pick for a nine team. I've never seen 9 team. I've seen 8, I've seen 10, but I've never seen 9. That's a solid pick. He should be around 70 points this year. No stress there. Djax Gibson is hurt and on a bad contract. It will cost the Ducks a lot more than that. I agree. Um, Seth says Mike is my biggest fan. wanting Gunther. Um, Seth, good to see you. That's all I'm going to say there. After Gostis Bear, Squids goes UPL, solid pick. No Regretskis and Levy. Grab a couple defensemen who will hope to see PP one time this year, Theodore and Dunn. Almond goes with Ehlers, who's pretty steady. Hopefully he's not in the doghouse this year like he has been in years past. We're looking pretty good on everything else here so far. I agree, Mike Shesty at 411 is great value. I agree. Um, that's the thing. Zero G is attractive, but if you have the guys available that you like and you're getting good value, then sometimes you pivot and you go there. Um, Don goes Freddie. Jared denies the stack with Kochetkov, and 17 goes Brant Clark. Interesting pick at 120. Might be a bit of a reach, but I've said it before. If you're on either book end of the draft, you kind of have to reach for the guys you want because you're waiting 20 picks, right? And he goes Michkov round 11. That could be a league winning pick, as we've said. He went round 12, Division 4 Pacific earlier. Interesting picks there. You got to grab the guys you want. Jared goes Velarde, also a good call out that we've mentioned in videos, in analysis, etc., etc. A couple of good picks here. Don is on the clock. He's got 3 defensemen. He's got 2 goalies. Got to think he's going best available forward. He grabs a solid floor in Frank Vetrano. Hopefully he touches 30 goals again, and the peripherals are very good. If you had to pick between Forsling, Ekblad, Trouba, could only keep 2. It depends on how you want to break it up. Like Ekblad has the worst outlook in terms of health. I don't know if I'd take both Florida guys or if that's gonna limit you. I'd flip a coin on Forsling, Ekblad. I think Forsling's the safer pick, and then I'd take Trouba. Richard. Kolraj says thoughts on Landeskog in round 16 or 17. Absolutely. I don't know what we're going to get out of him, but it's worth a stash if you get something out of him. Uh, Catching up on the last 3 picks, we go with some solid floor center left wing guys in McCann and Jenner for Levy and no Regretskis. Allman goes with Binnington. With where we're at, that's a solid goaltender pick. Is that he's going 0G, so that's what he's starting with in Binnington. We'll see what kind of volume he gets with the next couple. As Squids goes with pure center Nazem Kadri, maybe a little bit early in my opinion. Um, I'd maybe prefer Shifley or Suzuki over him as Suzuki goes to Jake. Um, but you grab the guys you want. Kadri should be pretty safe this year. Star Wars goes Chabot to round out his decor. Let's take a quick after Mike's pick. I'm going to take a quick look and see um, where Star Wars is at in terms of defensemen. I believe he took a defenseman right after Darlene went, whether he went Bouchard um, or no, sorry, Jake went Bouchard. But we'll see where Star Wars is at. Mike is on the clock, 20 seconds left in that. Hopefully, hopefully he wows us with this one. I know everyone's waiting to see what Mike ends up with in this. He goes Cam York, an FP favorite. With where we're at in the draft, that's where he should go. Um, Again, if you guys are new to this, defenseman fly. Mike's got his 4. Star Wars went Morrissey Riley, so Chabot is his 3rd. We'll see how he rounds that out as we enter round 12, flying through this draft, which is awesome. It's been pretty steady, about 125 of you concurrent. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in. Hidden goes with Elias Lindholm. That's very good value at this point for that pure center. Wicket on the back-to-back seemed pretty prepared there, quickly going Joseph Woll to round out his goaltending, and then he grabs Devon Taves for round 12 value. That's very good for what he's able to do. I was shocked to see he had 50 points last year. Um, the blocks are pretty good. The time on ice is obviously going to be great. So the 5-on-5 points should be great in turn. Um, very very solid player. Nobody, not a guy we're going to remember for any dazzling moments in his career, but he will, when it's all said and done, he'll have a really really good NHL career. Devon Taves. And to think Colorado got him for 2 second-round picks from the Islanders is just crazy. Hidden goes with Brian Rust. Good value there at round 12. going to scroll down just a little bit. I like how it looks when we have, um, actually, no, I like this better. Again, learning as we go here. First lottery ticket off the board, or sorry, second with Michkov. Mike has been talking a lot about Cutter Gauthier lately. He grabs him round 12. Um, a game, maybe the last game Anaheim played, Cutter had 12 shots on goal, so that screams fantasy value. Star Wars going with a reliable Pavel Buchnevich for his 12th round pick. Landeskog we talked about. So strange. My brother added an extra player a day before our draft. We get rotating bye weeks. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, the odd numbers is usually difficult to manage, but um, sometimes it's better off going with 9 than trying to scramble for a 10th person, and then you have somebody auto draft and not play, and then that's basically a bye week, beating up on a 10th place team, right? Papa Panda thinks Mike has had a better draft than Don so far. Um, we'll see how it all shakes out. Maybe we'll take a few minutes to see how everyone feels about the drafts at the tail end here. Um, this has felt like 20 minutes. Like I said that to the boys last night in our group chat. Like this is I get a lot of enjoyment out of this. Um, Jake goes Aiden Hill. Did he go 0G or did he grab one? He went Bob earlier, so that's a solid 2G for him. DeBrusque for Squids. We'll see what happens with him. Hopefully 65 points or so. Regretskis goes with, sorry, no Regretskis. Never a Regretski. Goes with Linus Olmark. Very good value for what the volume we're going to get and the outlook. I would probably prefer him over Binnington, not going to lie. So good value there for no Regretskis. Allman goes Patty Kane. It's about where we're seeing him go. Um, see what happens this year with him. Levy rounds out that goaltending with Connor Ingram. Should be pretty good value. He went Markstrom earlier, so good there. Don rounding out the decor. That's his 4th defenseman with Jacob Trouba. Peripherals machine, as we know. Hopefully things go well for him this year. I know that fan base is starting to not like him, but we'll see. Skate Forever asks Riley or Dougie. Dougie for me. I agree. D-Jax. I agree. Arc. Schmidt says, I'm too deep at pure center. Barkov, Heischer, Tavares, Lindholm. Who should I try and trade? Tavares obviously has the largest name value, especially if you're residing in Toronto or Ontario. Um, all 4 of us FP fellas are Ontario based, so lots of Leaf fans around, lots of name value there with Tavares. So that's who I'd look. Jared grabbing Lane Hudson, 12th round. Um, we're starting to see the lottery tickets as 17 goes Fantilli and then stashes Landeskog. Um, with what's out there, I don't know if that's the pick. Sorry, Seth, if that offends you or Dip. Um, but we'll see what Hudson can do this year. I think it's Matheson's spot to lose on Power Play 1, but we'll see. We'll see. I would love to be wrong in terms of that outlook. Jared grabs a very steady player in Trevor Moore, hoping for 55, 60 points, solid peripherals. He's kind of carved out that second line role in LA with Philip Danault. Any concern with the goalie tandem in Toronto? I love Wool, but ankle injuries kind of scare me. Anything lower body with goalies scares me personally. So we'll see there. But I think I'm off Stollers, but I like Wool. Don goes Brock Nelson. That let's see where's he at in terms of pure C's. That was his. Other than Matt, he's gone Matthews, and then he's avoided the pure C until now. Brock Nelson automatic 30 goals. I like it at round 13. Levy goes with Ekblad. Should be solid. Hopefully he stays healthy. You know the peripherals are pretty good. Um, as you see at the top of the screen there now, 51 games played, and he had pretty good peripherals, but let's hope for more this year. Allman goes Sharangovich, interesting player. Really cool story with him being kind of a 5th round pick that made it pretty early compared to others, but we'll see how he does on Calgary's first line this year. He was a very good second half player last year. Dip says Hudson is the pick. he has insider information. Well, by definition, like Hudson was the pick, 12th 12th round. Forget what draft position overall, but um, I'll take your word for it for now. No Regretskis goes Mark Stone. Hopefully he stays healthy this year. And Squids goes Thomas Harley, who had a good season last year. Hopefully piggybacks off of that. I'm surprised to see that many blocks. He had a really big jump in time on ice last season, so that helped him. Um, so really excited for what Harley can do this year. 15 goals was definitely a nice touch for anybody who had him last year as well. Um, Seth is a Matheson believer and thinks Hudson stinks, so I'll let those two guys duke it out. I'm going to stay out of that one. Dougie or Morrissey in this format, probably Morrissey's a little bit safer, um, only because Dougie's shoot first and not much else in terms of the peripherals. And we'll see what happens, obviously, once Luke Hughes comes back. If his job security on that power play one is still safe. Jake goes Bo Horvat. That's good value in the 13th round. Star Wars stashes Nichushkin, who should be back in December. Could be a league-winning pick if he picks up where he left off. And Mike goes Mark Scheifele, solid pure C value there. Is that Mike's third pure C? Yes, Heischer, or sorry, yeah, Zib, Heischer, and then Scheifele for Mike. So one of those guys might be riding Pine if they're all playing, but good value for Scheifele. Hidden goes Nurse. Wicked goes Forsling with his first back of the two back-to-backs. Josh, appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for leaving a comment. Um, all four of us tremendously appreciate the support we get every day. Um, and Wicked really, really ruins the party for Mike grabbing Sam Bennett there. I'm sure that is absolutely intentional. Wicked's one of our OG mods in the Discord, is fairly opinionated with his takes and gives out really good information when it comes to that. Um, Definitely was licking his lips there and hoping he could grab Sam Bennett. And we see back to back D after that. Hidden rounds out his D core with Pionk, and then Mike grabs another lottery ticket with Bolkvist in round 14. Is that his fourth or his third D? He went York. That's Mike's fifth defenseman, so that rounds it out. He can save that last couple of picks for maybe one more goalie and then a couple other lottery tickets or value picks up front. Star Wars grabbing Gudis, um, just Mr. Peripheral there. Not too sure how much value he'll have in our settings, but solid pick there for where we're at. Jake goes to Foley, who should be pretty reliable, but we will see. And where are we at with the comments? We touched on Dougie Morrissey. Carlson over Riley, I agree. I feel Dennis Hildeby will be the starter by the end of the season. That's a hot take for sure, Silky. Um, we'll see what happens. Good call out by Mike. Utility spot so we can roster 3Cs. Absolutely, but with grabbing elite wingers, it's gonna make that decision a little bit more difficult. You want to squeeze as many guys in, and having those dual positions is naturally going to help that. Definitely wouldn't go four pure C's. I think three is the max, but there's still some good value left on the board with regards to that. Squids goes Zuccarello, solid pick for 14th round. Regretskis grabs Corpusalo. Um, I wonder how many times somebody has drafted two players that were traded for each other in the offseason. He grabs Olmark and he grabs Corpusalo. Solid goaltending tandem so far. I believe he went 0G up until that point. So Olmark, Corpusalo, great value there at goalie for no Regretskis. Allman goes Ekholm to round out the decor. Levy takes a shot at Byfield, who I'm hoping has a great year. Need to see more peripherals. And Don rounds out his D. I believe that's his fifth with Anderson. Good value there. I believe Anderson went pretty early in the last draft, so I'm happy to see him go pick round 14 here. That's a little bit more true to where he should be, in my opinion. Jared goes Jack Quinn, 17 on the back-to-back. Grabs Wallman, who should have no competition for power play one, and then he stashes Luke Hughes. So Couple of good picks there for 17, bringing Jared back up in the 15th round. For me, there's a lot of Winnipeg options to fill that spot, and Dougie is valuable for the sake of being a defenseman and New Jersey. I was able to get Kyle Connor and Shifley, so I didn't go too hard for Morrissey. Okay, that makes sense. I love Dougie, but having Luke Hughes there, kind of next man up, I'm not really sure where that puts him when they're both there. We haven't seen them both there yet, to be fair. Like Luke Hughes with the rookie year last year, Dougie breaks his leg. Luke Hughes year two with a healthy Dougie. Luke Hughes gets hurt. So we'll see what the distribution is like when we get down to it. Jared grabs Cam Fowler, who's usually a pretty steady defenseman um, when it comes to fantasy. Don grabbing Raquel, who is penciled in at first line left wing as of right now, I think, in Pittsburgh. Levy goes Claude Giroux. Again, I touched on Giroux a little bit earlier. This may be the last year he's fantasy relevant based on Father Time being undefeated, but we'll see what happens this year in Ottawa. Allman going Tristan Jarry, that's pretty good value in the 15th round. Where are we at with Allman's goalies? Noah Gretzky stashes Drew Doughty. Allman's got Binnington Jarry so far. Would love to see him grab it one more goalie, maybe a Shelov's. Ingram's gone, maybe a Stallers. Like got to get a few more wins on the board here for Allman, in my opinion. Maybe a Noonan actually. Well, if a Noonan's there, picks round 16, I think that's a good fit for Allman. I hope I don't ruin that for him. Shelovs goes for Squids. It's a solid pickup given the situation in Vancouver. Jordan asks Stutzel or Meyer. I'm taking Meyer there 9 times out of 10. A lot more exciting of a player for me this year. Skate asks, how do you rank Carlson, Riley, Faber? Probably in that order, honestly. I think you've got it right there. Stutzel and Timo are close for me. I agree. I just like the players surrounding Meyer a little bit more than what Stutzel has. Um, that's just my opinion. How did Byfield fall this late? It's about where we're seeing him go. He's been a teen round pick, like round 11 to 14 or so. I think that's good value for what we might get out of him this year. Um, Catching up, Jake goes Brent Burns, who should be solid. Star Wars grabs Decord to round out his goalies. Mike goes with Fabian Zetterlund, who should be a very solid shots and hits floor on a bad San Jose team. Couple of pure centers. Hidden goes Dylan Cousins, who I hope bounces back this year. And Wicked goes with veteran Ozzy Kopitar, who should still be solid this year. And last draft, we saw Jeff Skinner go round 12. This is a lot better fit for him in round 16. Interesting pick for Hidden. I haven't seen Jason Zucker go just yet. I think he's line 3 as of right now, but might jump into the top 6. Him and Zach Benson are gunning for that second line left wing spot in Buffalo. We'll see what happens with Zucker this year. I'm not too confident, but hopefully he has a good season. That was a free agent signing for Buffalo to complement their young forwards. Um, More points, but Timo's left wing, right wing is more valuable. I agree. I think Timo will end up with better peripherals as well. Mike grabbing Dostal to round out his goalies. That's a very good pick. Um, had about 1,200 saves last year, splitting time, and look to have won the starting job over Gibson. Again, it's a bad team, but the volume will be great with Gibson missing the first, call it 6 weeks. Star Wars goes Duclair. We're officially in lottery ticket territory, so I love that. A first line left winger, hopefully 30 goals at the most from Duclair for a team that's usually starving for offense. So that would be a good complement to that Horvat Barzal top line. How do you rank Keller, Caulfield, Fiala? Um, Caulfield's the most intriguing to me. I think Keller's the safer floor, and I think Fiala's a baby step before both. So I think you have it right, Jordan. Forsberg or J Rob and Bangers Cats. Forsberg for me, just based off of the volume that we're going to see the Corporal. Um, Much higher floor for Forsberg. I think J Rob will have a better year than he did last year, but I'm going with Forsberg in that case. Jake going with Lehkonen. Hopefully he doesn't he doesn't miss too much time, but a very good player in terms of providing a well-rounded spark. 34 points in 45 games last year, dealt with some injuries. Hopefully, he's back healthy soon. Squids going with Lawson Krause, a solid peripheral contributor. Found his scoring touch either last year or 2 years ago, I believe. So hopefully 25 goals out of Krause. No Regretskis goes Hurdle. Hopefully 65 points on the second line there. And there we have it. Sven has a call, a correct call. Anunin goes 16th round to Almond. Great job. I'll take an assist on that one, Almond. As Levy goes with Dursey, solid player, solid peripherals. Don grabs some volume, and Dustin Wolf. We'll see what happens there in Calgary, but solid volume. Jake Neighbors for Jared. Hopefully 30 goals. Would love to see more shots in that top line left wing role in St. Louis. The final back-to-backs for 17. He rounds his team out with Gustafsson, great value in the 16th round, despite the 3 goalies in Minnesota, and then grabs Jonathan Drouin, who I hope has a good year in Colorado. He may be a beneficiary with the injuries they have right now. Um, Obviously, McKinnon and Rantanen will drive that bus, no problem, but they need a good supporting cast. I think Middlestat will be an interesting player to start the year as well. I'm not touching him in 12 team leagues, but my 14 team on Tuesday, I might give Middlestat a look for a little bit of line two power play one action. Um, he's probably going to be pure C, so there's guys I like better, but I'll queue him up. You never know. Jared rounds out his team with Stallers, the as of right now number 2 in Toronto. Somebody said earlier they think Hildeby will be the starter. We'll see. I'm a Wool guy myself, but hopefully everyone stays healthy and has a good year. Don's last pick, he goes Malkin, pure C. Hopefully he stays healthy. I probably would have rather Josh Norris. That's who Levy went with. Who again injury issues, but should be good for 30 goals if healthy. Allman grabs a power play 1D man, and Gustafsson, I'm surprised he didn't go. I think everybody else had 4 or 5D, so maybe that's why, but really good value for Gustafsson. Couple of goalies here with some good volume, Montembeau and Urson for no Regretskis and Squids. Couple guys that took goalies late, so good value, good volume there. Jake goes Arvidsson, a good lottery ticket. Star Wars doesn't trust the Brant Clark experiment. He's going to go Jordan Spence. Did Clark go? Am I missing that? Anybody take Brant Clark? Oh, round 10 to 17. So he reached a bit on Clark, but Spence going in round 17. I don't hate it. Tom Wilson for Mike. Good shots and hits floor for that guy when he's healthy. Hidden going Dawson Mercer, and again we do not see pick 204. I'm gonna guess Logan Cooley this time. So let me go ahead. Let me expand this just a little bit so I can take my pictures of the draft board. And then let's break this down a little bit. Let me know which teams you guys want to have a look at. In the meantime, feel free to comment what you guys like as of right now. Just going to take a couple screenshots of the board with the first 9 rounds in this one. And then we'll scroll down and get the last couple rounds in this one. Tremendously appreciate everyone who stuck through these last two hours and change. This is a lot of fun and different from the content the boys normally do. So I'm sure I don't want to speak for Don, but I'm sure I can echo it that we love this stuff and we love providing really cool content for you guys. So thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow night we are going to have the Division 1 drafts. That is at 8 p.m., I believe, Eastern time. And then, of course, we will round out our FPPL drafts on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday at um, Tuesday at 7, I believe, we have our Division 4 Northwest, followed by the Creators League draft at 9 o'clock. And then Wednesday the 2nd, 8 p.m., I believe we will have Division 4 Southeast. And then we will have everything drafted. Let's check the comments here, see if anybody wants to take a look at some teams. Mike gives a GG. Giroux or McCann? I'm going McCann. personally. Um, can you guys give advice on my team? Armias, are you in here right now, or are you just okay? You commented later. I'll get to that. Um, Jordan, appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. I have Makar, Faber, Dobson, Wierenski, Lozon, Adam Fox. 6D is a little much if you're looking to shake it up. I don't know what your categories are, so I don't know if Lozon is worth keeping with regards to that. Um, don't mind it at all to have six, but you might want to check the waiver wire for forwards. To be honest, um, Lozon might be a drop depending on your format, so we'll see with that. Looks like everybody else is looking to help you out as well. Um, Nobody's asking for rating teams or looking. I'd love to know if for everybody still tuning in, who you think had a really strong draft, who you think might win this Division Two East, get the promotion to Division One, or sorry, Division Two West. Um, Hardy Har Har picked two of my top three keepers: Kyle Connor, Victor Hemmen, Sam Reinhart. I've got 1-1, so I'll have McDavid. Um, I'd go Hedman for sure, and I think I prefer Connor over Reinhart. Might be controversial, but we'll see. Um, Actually, no, go Reinhardt. Sorry, um, that's just the personal bias. I'm not a huge Reinhardt guy, but I'll give credit where it's due. Samuel Urson's gonna win me the league. John says, yeah, like a couple people are really high on him, so I hope that works out well. I don't know what Philly's gonna look like this year. Hopefully, they're competing all year like they did last year. Um, yeah, so Wicked, sorry, Mike, didn't notice you changed your name. I couldn't find Kopitar, so I had to go with Bennett. Wicked, you're not sorry, but I appreciate you saying awesome job. Appreciate everybody. Don's in here as Dovidas. Good draft, guys. Def had a few guys snipe from me. Absolutely, it's fun to be in the chair commentating and weighing in on it. It is a million times as hard to be where Mike and where Don were tonight, in the chair drafting. Probably a little sweaty palms, waiting for your cued guys to slip to you, and maybe somebody got sniped. Maybe you do a quick fist bump when you get the guy you like. Um, but very good draft from the Division Two West crew. I think I'm gonna get off here. John thinks Squids 8. Are you Squids? Yeah, you took Urson, so let's keep it anonymous. Wicked wants me to take a peek at his team, so let's do it. Wicked was pick 12. Goes Kaprizov, Matt Kachuk back to back. Very good start. And then grabs first defenseman round 4, going Meyer McAvoy. That's what I would have did. That's the technique right there. Um, Round 5, Ottinger. Round 6, Boldy. Pretty good. Seth Jones, with relative to where D are going, um, that's a solid pick. I think if you take a non FP viewer and say Seth Jones went 7th round going into the 8th round, they might be a little bit timid on that, but I'm fine with that. And to Brinkett, I'm fine with. Georgiev, we'll see what happens there, but you you have some insurance in Ottinger, who should have really good volume. So fine with Georgiev there. Robert Thomas as the pure C. Joseph Wool is your third goalie. Three goalies in the first 11 rounds is interesting. I like the goalies you got, but maybe instead of Georgiev, you load up there with skaters. Um, but we'll see what happens there. And then Devon Taves, Gustav Forsling to round out your D. You should have pretty good coverage from McAvoy and Jones. I'm not sure who did you take pick who did you take Mr. Irrelevant, Wicked. Did you go forward? Did you go with a defenseman? I'm curious because obviously it just says on the clock on my end. Then you round out with some pure C's: Sam Bennett, Kopitar, and Jeff Skinner with the lottery ticket. So very solid team for Wicked there. Um, Snorlaxes appreciate it. Um, Connect 04 likes your team. Wicked thinks you'll win the league, so we'll see. Um, we got Belvedere Gaming asking about a Bills money line live bet. Um, I haven't had the game on, so I'll have to. I'll have to tune in once I get off here. But really appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm gonna get off here. Oh, Lost Ones wants how's my team looking? I'm Almond. Hello, Almond. Hello, Lost Ones. You had pick five. Let's take a look at this there here, and then we've got 4 minutes until the draft room closes. So we'll get through this quick. We go Pasternak, Panarin. That's a fairly good start for some pure wingers, pure center in Eichel. Then you grab your first defenseman, round four, in Dougie. I would have maybe preferred Uyghur just to get some better coverage, but you've got plenty of good coverage with Werenski at round six. Caulfield round five is maybe a little bit early for some people, but um, you grab the guys you want. On if I'm picking between Caulfield and say Kyle Connor, I'm maybe going Connor, despite Caulfield having dual eligibility, but that's fine through the first six picks. Um, then you grabbed Konechny, which is solid, Tavares, which is solid for him. Alex Tuck is interesting. I hope he has a really good year and eclipses 70 points again. Ehlers, you know what you're getting out of him. And then you went 0G. So you started with Binnington, who should have solid volume. And then you went Patty Kane, who should be solid. Sharon Govich, I'm very interested in. He'll be first line right wing for most of the year, so I'm hoping he can build off where he was last year. Rounding out your goalies with Jari and a Noonan. Love what you did with the Noonan to make sure you had one goalie on a playoff team. So I'm fine with that. Jari should have solid volume. Hopefully, is it Nedeljkovic still backing him up? Hopefully he doesn't eat away at the volume too much. Rounding out your D with Ekholm, who is a solid contributor across the board. Hopefully the 5-on-5 points are good. And then you grab your power play one defenseman in Gustafson at the last round, which is good value in my opinion. Silky Mitt says, would you suggest the last three rounds to set up your first and second week play? That's a good call, and if you're somebody who's subbed to the Patreon and takes advantage of our weekly schedule, that's a solid call out to look at some stream options, look at some favorable schedules, maybe some 4 game weeks for some guys, week one or week two. That's not a bad tool there. That's a good call out, Silky. I haven't thought of that. Wicked, you took Hronik. Okay, that's solid for a fifth defenseman. Um, that's it from me, fellas, with the draft board closing. I took pictures of this, so nobody can get mad at me at that. Tremendously appreciate it. I'm going to hop in the Discord now and share the draft boards from tonight. Again, we had Division 4 Pacific and Division 2 West. And then Division 1 is clamoring for their draft order. So that is the next order of business after that. Again, thank you guys. We're still at 100 concurrent, so tremendously appreciate the support and look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow night for Division 1. I believe Mike will be on the call for that. Should be a very, very fun draft there. All right, take care.